All right. Well, hello everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, so this is, you're welcome.
Here's all the pages I have to go through.
No, this is what we talked about. Neuroscience, investing, and automating.
Cool.
So you know.
Awesome. Hello everybody on Periscope, Meerkat, and now Facebook. For those of you, you guys are making Herman happy. He likes to read all his compliments. Herman's going to learn about the internet. Be careful with that phone. All right, 8 ways to make more money. What's up, Facebook? We dropped the phone. We have Facebook's pretty interesting because it's got a huge lag. So who wants to make their money work for them? This is the question of the hour. How come these are so crazy? Who's watching all the sports games today? Anybody? Anybody?
Zach, I know. There you go.
Zach. All right. I got it from here. Boom. Getting us all going. Everybody wants to know how to invest their money. It's a very common question that I get. We'll go through 8 things you can do to make money work for you. Herman did the pre-talk on the neuroscience of investing, and now I will do the other side. Somebody said, life's too short, Tai, to waste watching sports. All right. We got some people don't like sports at all. Somebody said they're getting motion sickness. Are you in a car? Somebody says, hello from Salem, Oregon. Real Madrid lost. Sports don't pay my bills. There need to be subtitles because I can't have the sound on. You can learn to read my lips, I guess. Sam Walton built Walmart with his sports background. I don't know that that's true. Where'd you get that theory? Never heard that before. We're probably going to have, it's interesting. Facebook, I was playing basketball yesterday, if any of you saw, and 26,000 people were watching on Periscope, Meerkat, and Periscope. So it was more than a stadium of people watching me. It's kind of crazy. This thing pulls down a little bit, falls down a little. That's the best way to do it? I think it's better to put it, I guess it's okay now. That's fine now.
We could get another tripod.
Yeah, I think in the long run we should just get another tripod.
Don't we have another one?
Let's get started. 8 things you need to know to make money work for you. Number 1 thing is there's 2 approaches to money. 2 approaches. And I'll talk about this a lot to money. The first approach is the most common approach. So imagine you're walking. Here's you when you're born. You're a little kid. And you're walking down life. And then the road splits. And you see people with 2 approaches to money. One is, over on this side, is pursue and chase money. This direction has the majority of people. So there's 7.5 or 7.3 billion. I'd say 7 billion out of the 7.3 go this way because this is what you're taught. You pursue money. But remember the old saying, if any of you guys have ever read anything about being better with women, there's a saying, I'm not sure who it's originally attributed to, but it says, what you pursue will move away from you. It's a little bit like a cat. If you want a cat to pet you, if you start trying to chase down your cat, then the cat doesn't like it and walks away. Get another tripod for the periscope so it's not crooked. You want a cat to pet you? It's when you don't try to pet it that it comes to you. Somebody said, Tai, I love money. Isaac Jordan Madigan on Facebook says that. On the other side, you have the small percentage of people, less than 10%, I'd say roughly 5% of the population, and they still pursue something, and they still chase something, but it's not money. I call this way the direct approach. This is the DA. The direct approach. And believe it or not, the direct approach is not always the best approach. Why? What you pursue, just write this down. What you pursue will move away from you. This talk, by the way, I'll do this for a little bit here, and then I'm going to give away some iPad minis. I'll give away 4. One on Periscope, one on Facebook, one on Meerkat, and one on my website, because people are watching from 4 places: YouTube, Meerkat, Facebook, and Periscope. So we're probably going to have at least 40,000 people watching this in 72 countries. So pay attention to the notes, because one of you on each of these platforms will win a iPad mini. I like to give away these entrepreneur tools. You can use them to read. You can use them for whatever you want, really. Oh, let me turn this around real quick. Put this one in the front. So let's do a quick survey while I'm moving my Periscope around. How much money are you currently making in the last 30 days? Or annual if you want. How much money are you making right now? What's your annual income on track to do? Somebody said 0. Somebody said 40 grand. Where are we at? 1,200, 3 grand a month. Negative 150,000 a month. 65,000, 40,000. 250 grand this year. 60,000 a month, Kearney says. 240,000 a year. Somebody says 100,000 a year. Mike Polizzi says 45,000 a year. Christian Martinez, 1,000 a month. On Meerkat, this guy says 100,000. 15,000 a month. 30 grand a month from Cassio Buono. Okay, you could see the incomes are all over. We have somebody doing negative and people doing 150,000 a month. I get a wide variety of people. DAs. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not sure why I meant to say pursuit. You could call it whatever you want. But the key word here is direct. Directly going after what they want. And when it comes to money, money's a cat. Write that down. Money is a cat. Now, you need to be direct in your intentions, but not direct in your pursuit. And there's a big difference you'll see here. Over here, you do need to pursue and chase something, but remember, it's not money. It's not money. What is it? Nasser said he's making 180,000 a month. What do you need to pursue? Any guesses? If it's not money, what do you pursue in order to get money? Why does only 5% of the world control? I read that 10% of the world currently financially controls 90% of all assets. Think of that for a second. I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying that's the current trend and the current statistic. 90% of all assets are controlled by 10% of people. So what are the 10% doing different? Are they stealing the money? That's what some people think. Are they inheriting the money? Are they lucky in winning the lottery? How are 10% controlling 90% of all assets? And there's lots of reasons. There's not one. Part of it is each of those things. There's some people who inherited the money. There's some people who got lucky. But that wouldn't explain everything, because not everybody can inherit or get lucky. And in fact, on the Forbes list this year, or actually last year was the first year, there's more people who got their money through through activity on their own than inherited. It's never been that way in the history of the world. This is the first year where more people made their own money than inherited their money, or last year was 2015. Somebody says, Tai, I don't think Bill Gates got lucky. Yeah, he started working at 13, and he says from age 20 to age 30, he worked nonstop, 365 days a year times 10 years, 3,650 days. I wouldn't call that luck. Now, he had some luck. Everybody has some luck. If you're born healthy, Warren Buffett says you're lucky. What do you pursue then? Because there has to be something. If you're following the two approaches to making money, if you're pursuing directly money, you're going to be in the 95% that don't get it. And this is what we'll talk about in the other 7 points. They pursue something different, and I'll define what that different is during the course of this talk, because it's going to take me the rest of the talk. Think of your friend. Think of your mom and dad. I was born to a single mom. My mom had to pursue money. My dad was in prison when I was born. My mom I remember as a little kid, she couldn't always afford a babysitter, so she would just leave me at home. I was 5 or 6, around 5 or 6, because she got remarried when I was a little older. So when we were in San Diego, she'd just leave me when I was 6, and I survived. I was fine. But the point being, she was going out pursuing money to pay the next bill. But for each of you watching, I'll tell you this. Bills are always going to be there. So what is the things they pursue differently? We're going to talk about being different on this call. They don't fight fires. I was thinking about this yesterday when I was preparing for today. It's so easy to get into a lifestyle where you are just fighting fires. That's all you do. Every day, financially, you fight one fire. Who here has ever made money, and the second you make it, it's just enough to put out a fire you didn't even know you were going to have? So excited, you get the money, and then you realize it's all going to be out the door. The 5% of people that aren't pursuing money directly, they're not fighting fires. You have to learn how to not fight fires. Now, I'm not saying you never have to put out a fire. You will have to put out a fire. But if your entire financial existence is basically composed of you putting out fires, you can be broke forever. My mom was just putting out fires. She would pay the bill, pay the rent, and then guess what? I call it the tyranny of the first of the month. She was fighting the tyranny. America was founded when we tried to throw off the king, or we did throw off the king. We considered it tyranny that we were having to pay taxes back to England. Tyranny of the first of the month. That's one fire. And if you're an entrepreneur, I know I get a lot of entrepreneurs watching, you still are going to succumb to this. If, in fact, you'll succumb to this even more likely than if you're not an entrepreneur. Because once you're an entrepreneur, guess what? Once you become an entrepreneur, you take on a whole another set of responsibilities. You have rent, you have employees, you have payroll tax, you have marketing expenses. Oh, somebody said they like my shirt. The shirt says, most people's minds are so full of conclusions, there's no room for expansion. So that's why most people are going to come on a call like this. You're ahead of the game already by being on this call, because most people, they're already full of conclusions. They're already going. I saw some post somewhere where somebody wrote, oh, I'm not going to listen to that. I don't like get rich quick schemes. And I was thinking, this fool doesn't even know I don't talk about get rich quick schemes. I talk about the opposite. I overtly say this is not an get rich quick scheme. The average person takes 12 to 20 years to be a millionaire. And people's minds are so full of conclusions. But you know what? Get excited. Because the more people go down the wrong path, the easier it will for you to go down that other path. It won't be crowded. There's no traffic jam on the path to making money. Trust me, there is no traffic jam yet. I will warn you, coming up in the next years, it's starting to catch on around the world that there's huge opportunities. So the path will get more crowded. As of this millisecond right now, it is not. The only craft that is, the only path that is full right now is people fighting fires and trying to outrun the tyranny of the first of the month when their bills are due. You won't outrun it, I guarantee you. What other fires are people trying to put out? Human crisis, meaning people screwing you over, maybe a business partner that you have, maybe customers, maybe you have an investor who said they're going to put money in and they back out. So once again, people are trying to put out the fire of paying the bills on the first of the month. People are trying to cope with crises that are affecting their income. It might be your boss sucks. It might be your business partner. I've had around 13 business partners, and I've only had one that I didn't like. And luckily, we never even really started the business. So I nipped it in the bud before it got started. But if you don't nip it in the bud before it got started, you can have tremendous disasters with people. Sigmund Freud, the great psychologist, the founder of modern psychology, said there's 3 causes of human misery. One being the aging of our body causes you pain. You know, when you're 5 years old, you get sick and you're bounce back in 1 hour. When you're 90 years old, you get the flu and it kills you. Number 2, he said it's the forces of nature, hurricanes, tornadoes. But the third one accounts for most of the fires you'll put out. He said other humans. Most of your problems are human related, which we'll get to later. Most of your solutions are also human related, which is the good news. Today, as we talk about the 8 ways to make money work for you, don't forget that. Do not forget that humans will be the cause of a majority of your crises. What other fires are 95% of people spending all their time and all their energy putting out? Bills, I said, number 1. Number 2, issues with other humans. What's the third? And the third is internal. Internal conflict. Here's what I mean. Have you ever woke up in the day, in the morning, and intended to do something that you knew was important to your financial well-being? You knew it would make you a better investor, but you, at the end of the day, go to bed and you didn't do it. Some people call that procrastination. I call it a quick way to stay poor forever. Now, some of you might not deal at all with procrastination. You might be a super hard worker. But internal conflicts, I bet you have some of them. We all do. It's just some people have a hell of a lot more than others. Some people see themselves as hardworking, but you look at their lives and you know they're lazy. Some people see themselves as optimistic, but they're overly optimistic. A lot of people, in fact, the former head of the Federal Reserve, Alan Greenspan, said in his experience running the U.S. economy as the chief banker in the United States, the number one issue was what? Over optimism. Somebody says, Ty, Bill Gates says lazy people come up with better ideas. There's a difference between lazy and innovative. Bill Gates was just using a play on words. He wasn't really saying lazy people. He was saying people who find creative solutions and invent solutions. That's fine. That's not, you're not going to be you're not going to have an internal conflict if you come up with the invention of fire and the wheel so you save time. That's not what anybody's talking about. You're going to have to deal with these. And if you spend all your life, the 5% of people who are making a hell of a lot of money, and let me just tell you, how many of you were at my New York conference? I just got back this weekend from New York. I missed the blizzard, thank God. Got out of there right in time. Huge blizzard for all of you stuck in it on the East Coast. But Tuesday and Wednesday, I did a conference at the Roosevelt in Manhattan and had about 700, it was full, 700 people there. It was awesome to hear all the stories from people. And one of the cool things that I saw there here were people, while everybody else is just fighting fires, here's a group of people doing something else. And they're investing in the brain. And if you're watching this call now, you're kind of doing the same thing. So that's good. Somebody on Meerkat, Dylan Jeffrey, says New York was amazing. Cool. Something's happening. I might need a new Facebook. I think I break Facebook comments. So can you give me another phone that I can just read the Facebook? I blow up Facebook after about, I found every 20 minutes in, it stops feeding. It's pretty interesting. Facebook, you got to get it together, baby. Come on now. Can't always have your comments breaking. You guys are breaking the comments here. Last time I had like 7,000 comments, so it explodes. Some GS Talento was at the conference. He says it was insightful and hilarious at the same time. Somebody said Zuckerberg. Tai Lopez, comment breaker. You need to come to the UK. I think I'm coming to the UK in May. You got to stop just spending your whole life. If you look at the last 5 days of your life, how much of it was spent putting out and preparing for the first of the month rent, dealing with some crazy people in your life, and dealing with your own internal conflict over all the plans that you had, all the things you meant to do, the gym you were going to go to, but you forgot to go. I guess I can do it on here, on mine.
It's working now. Yeah.
No, it doesn't flow on mine. It doesn't. I'll do it on here. What do I need to do? I go to...
Just go to your Facebook.
Let me see if it's popping. Let me see what it shows me.
Yep, just click that.
Yeah, but let's see if it's... I don't think I see the comments. Oh, here. Boom.
Nice.
But do you see the comments coming in?
I see it coming in.
Yeah, I probably have to look through on
Yeah,
yours.
you're probably gonna have to look through mine.
Unless you can see it. Actually, I think I might be able to... Oh, let me try something. Okay, so let's keep going here as we go through the 8 ways. For those of you just popping in, we're talking about the 8 ways. Here we go. Oops. How do you see them? Somebody said, why is Ty talking about cats? How do
It
you
doesn't
watch
look
it?
like yours automatically streams, unlike this one.
Oh, you have
Like
to go to
you're
your
the user.
Facebook. You go to my... Are you in your personal Facebook?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I'll go to my personal one. Who here's cope? What's the worst thing you've coped with in the last month of these 3? Tyranny of paying your bills on the first, some crazy human, or your own internal conflict. Let's take a little survey here. I'm very interested to know, because I have a theory on what I think most people are dealing with, but I don't want to impose my theory. Number 1 thing. Why do I not see it?
Still not showing?
Oh, here. That's weird. Yeah, I might need to just have another phone.
Oops.
Just leave it down here. I'll look at it. We can put it. That's what we'll do. We'll put it right in here.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Boom, ba-doom. Somebody said the tyranny. Oh.
No, it's resuming.
Don't. Just leave it.
Yeah.
All right. Turn it so your phone. Come around the back and put it in so that it doesn't do that.
Gotcha.
You guys that don't have iPhones, I'm telling you, dude, fucking iPhone is better. All you Android people, your phones are always screwy. Anyway, we won't go down that path. I don't know why. You know, it's a very interesting thing about people. It's why brands exist. No matter how good something is, some people just can't accept it and they're like, I ain't getting that because everybody else gets it. I was never that way. There's a little side note. You want to make money? If you see something working, I don't care if 2 trillion people do it or 2 people are doing it. Do it. Just do it. Don't be the dude who's a dumbass who goes, well, if my friend has it and it's working for them and I get it, then I look like I'm copying my friend. I'm like, yes, Pablo Picasso said, good artists copy, great artists steal. It's one of the techniques that Picasso used to become the greatest person ever in terms of, art. Not the greatest person. Why does it say paused? Oh, that's when you paused it.
Yeah.
Do not be that person. I never got that. That never made sense to me. Ever. Back to where we were. People said human conflict was a big one. There are more people that use Android than iPhone. Yeah, but that doesn't mean jack shit. That just means there's more people that use it. I've tried both, man. You got to experiment with both. Anyway, we can agree to disagree on that. Let us keep going. Is it paused for you guys? Not you. No, you don't come over. But how is it for you guys?
Yeah.
You see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Back to number 3. What are the 5% doing differently? If they're not pursuing money, we said, most people pursue money, try to put fires out, try to just pay their bill, try to stay one day ahead of the game, try to cope with people who mess with your financial situation. Could be boss, coworker, business partner, crazy customer. And then lastly, you try to deal with yourself so that you don't procrastinate so much. Who here really struggles with procrastination? Anybody? You really struggle with procrastination. Who is that? I'll need a new one here soon. We're talking about 8 things to make money work for you. Number 3. This is a big one. Is a big one. If you want more money in your bank account, not in other people's bank account, but in yours, then you need to understand what I'm about to lay out here in number 3. The pursuit must be precise, focused. The 5% of people in my experience that are making a lot of money, and I was saying, when I was in New York, one of my buddies popped in and spoke for a little bit at the private dinner that I did. And he's making crazy amount of money. Is it cut off on Facebook? Who's watching on Facebook?
It's good.
You're watching? Okay. And my buddy was there that's probably making, I'd say he makes at least $200,000 a day. He's pursuing money in a completely different way. At least makes 200 grand a day. I would say he's probably making more. And I'd say he's netting 50 to 100,000 a day. So I'd say probably nets 3 million a month. It's a lot of money. And they're out there, and there's people that were at my New York conference that you can't even look and tell. They're not wearing Rolexes. Sometimes they do, but not all of them. Most people that make money have one or two things that they're doing that's flashy. So he's a combination of flashy and not flashy. He likes to fly private jet, but that's more about just not having people, he don't like people bothering him, put it that way. That's why he does it. Now, what is he pursuing? And he's pursuing with precision. You guys seen on my Snapchat where every day I do a focus bag, speed bag, for those of you who know boxing, the little bag that you hit real fast. Blah, 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 blah. The reason I do that is because every day it focuses my brain and it makes me precise because that little bag is small. How many people here have ever seen a fight, street fight, or maybe in person, or now on the internet, people are always posting crazy fights? What do most people look like when the heat of the battle comes and somebody's attacking them? What do most people do? They just start going like this, right? And like they start freaking out. There's no precision. The reason you learn to do a speed bag and the reason you never really want to get in a fight with a boxer is because a boxer has precision. And a boxer going to wait, and you might come flying at them, and they're going to stick you right down the middle. If you watch the last UFC fight, you had this guy named McGregor versus Aldo. Aldo's is Brazilian. I think he had gone 5 or 10 years undefeated. And this one person, McGregor, this one skinny dude, just waited, and the fight went 13 seconds. And it was really less than that. It was about 3 seconds if you watched the fight by the time they started. And McGregor just waited, and Aldo flew in, and McGregor's actually, I think, left-handed, so he fought like this and caught him right in the chin. And when the fight was over, people asked McGregor what his secret is. And he said, precision beats power and timing beats speed. He's in the 5% of fighters of all time, and you can apply this to you getting into the 5% of those making money and living what I call financial health. You got to live out a life that exemplifies financial health. Not everybody on this call needs to be a millionaire. Not everybody needs to be a billionaire, but you want to have health. A lot of people are worried about their physical health. They're going to the gym. They're doing crunches. They're jogging. You see people. I got a neighbor I got another place up in the hills, and this dude, I moved in there 2009. Now it's 2016. So 7 years, this guy's been jogging, and he's still as fat as the day he started jogging. And I know why. Because he's not precise. He doesn't know what Conor McGregor said about precision beats power. And if you're trying to make money, and so you're using all your power, you really feel it. You wake up 2016, the new year, and you're like, this is my year. I feel it in my bones. I'm going to make money. And then you just start doing lots of stuff. So you maybe read a book. You maybe open up an account, a trading account in the stock market. You go to one conference. You're mad scrambling. At the end of the day, you have no precision to your power, and you will not make it in 2016. You'll be like everybody else who starts the year with the best of intentions and ends with nothing, ends no better off than they were. My friend that came to the conference that's making $50,000 to $100,000, a day net. He's doing it with absolute precision. If you talk to him, there's calmness in his voice. There's calmness to his plan. And it's not even a plan, it's a strategy. It's well thought out. He has a multitude of counselors. There's an ancient saying, make war with a multitude of counselors. I just posted a video on my YouTube, and it's last night I saw that new movie 13 Hours by Michael Bay, the story of Benghazi with John Krasinski. It's a great movie, way better than everyone that I went with thought it would be, because Michael Bay is known more for doing movies like The Transformers, but this movie is pretty badass. Whether you agree with what's going on in the Middle East and U.S. military policy, go see this movie. It's pretty intense. And you saw there in that movie, in the story of Benghazi, I read the book a while ago, but an American base, a little covert base that had 10 soldiers, got attacked in 2000. I believe it was in 2012. Got attacked by hundreds of Libyan forces, paramilitary forces. And once again, the military, the Libyan military was held off by like 6 soldiers or 10 soldiers because those soldiers were precise. They could bink, 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 whereas everyone else, the attacking forces, were just spraying machine guns, fire, and they didn't win. Now, they killed a few Americans, but eventually, well, I don't want to ruin the movie. You can go see it. For you, are you spraying the machine gun and your energy in the pursuit of money? Almost everybody I meet that's not making money but intends to make money is just spraying bullets everywhere. And I'm going, you gotta see the movie 13 Hours. You need to see. Go watch the video of the last Conor McGregor fight. Watch that absolute precision. He just waits, he waits, and bam! Which brings me to number 4. Then I'm going to need a new board here. Number 4 is the rule of rare opportunity. We're on the call. Make sure you're taking notes because I'm giving away 4 iPad minis. One on my website, YouTube, one on Meerkat, one on Facebook, and one on Periscope. So if you're taking notes, I'm going to say one random detail at the end of this, and whoever answers it the fastest, you can win the iPad mini. I've sent out a ton of these entrepreneur tools. The rule of rare opportunities. You're watching this call because we're talking about the 8 ways to make money work for you. So you don't have to work so hard. Money works for you. And if you understand this 4th rule, you can be way ahead of the game. You're going to be part of the 5% of people that control most of the assets of the world. The actual number is 10% of people control 90% of all the assets. But the last 5% controls even more. You're talking 5% of the world controls like 99% of the assets. Now, I don't think that's necessarily fair, but it is what it is. And it's a little bit hard to change. Maybe one day we'll figure out an economic system that has everybody having exactly the same amount of money. But the problem with that is if you spread all the money in the world from all the wealthy people and you distribute it equally, the last number I read would be everybody on the planet would make $25,000 a year, which isn't enough, right? It wouldn't be horrible, but it wouldn't be an ideal world if you knew you were capped at a lifestyle of $25,000 a year. So what we need is a world where everybody, you and I, know how to create assets, know how to make money. And that's what this call is about. And one of the absolute tools is the rule of rare opportunity. Please understand the rule of rare opportunity. And I'll read it to you. This rule I took from one of the smartest, wealthiest people in the world. His name's Charlie Munger. And he got this actually from his grandfather. His grandfather gave him this advice, and this is what the advice was. And this is when Charlie, if you don't know who Charlie Munger is, he's the business partner of Warren Buffett. He built a company with Warren Buffett that's currently valued at $300 billion. Okay, pretty good company. 300 billion. Can you come reset the Facebook because its comments aren't here again? The rule of rare opportunity. Yeah, just reset this. Give it to Shun to reset. His grandfather, when he was about 7 years old, 8 years old, told him, real opportunities that come to you are few, Charlie. It's a very fortunate life that is just bathed in opportunity all the way. Most people just get a few times where they can make a huge difference by seizing a huge activity. And then his grandfather looked at him and said, Charlie, when you find one of those opportunities, my dear grandchild, and you can clearly recognize it, seize it boldly and don't do it small. Let me read that one more time. His grandfather said, real opportunities that come to you are are few. It's a very fortunate life that's just bathed in opportunity all the way. Most people just get a few times where they can make a huge difference by seizing a huge activity. And then he added, when you find one of those, my dear grandchild, and you can clearly recognize it, seize it boldly and don't do it small. Let's break that down because those are very powerful words. And those words are the words that Charlie Munger followed, and he became a self-made billionaire. Came from regular lifestyle, middle class, or slightly above middle. I think Charlie Munger was a little above middle class, but not really. I mean, he was from Omaha, Nebraska, and he rose up over the years. Now he's 95. Is it streaming now? Yeah. Now he's in his 90s. And he's got billions of dollars and a company. They keep $40 billion in cash. That's their current cash. Him and Warren Buffett say they can't sleep good at night if they don't have at least $20 billion in cash. Isn't that a different lifestyle? Do you think they're putting out fires all day? If you had $20 billion in cash, would your life consist of putting out fires? Hell no. You could start fires, but you wouldn't be putting them out. Someone else would be putting them out for you. What did he say? There's three main components to this rule. The first component is opportunities are few. It's a rare life that has a lot of opportunity. If you think, and this is back to the over-optimism, let's say you're an entrepreneur now, or let's say you are a aspiring entrepreneur or an employee or whatever you're doing, you probably have fallen for the trap that 90% of the planet has fallen for. They don't know this rule that I'm sharing with you. They don't understand that it's a rare life that has a lot of opportunity. And it's not good to think you're the person with that rare life. It's better to assume that you're going to get a few big shots at life. A few big shots. And you better take them. The way I like to think about it, one way you can think about it is like a baseball player. If you ever watch baseball, the sport, how does baseball work? You're standing there. You're the batter. The pitcher throws something. How many pitches are precisely set up for you to hit a home run? Not that many, right? They're throwing crazy, weird curves at you. And that's how life goes. Most opportunities that come to you, people throw something at you and you're waiting. There's not that many amazing throws that are just set up precisely for you to not be able to knock them out of the park. You see that in sports. How often is there a grand slam in baseball? Very rarely. Because there has to be a confluence of all these different circumstances perfectly lining up for it to be a big opportunity for you. If you want to make a ton of money and your plan is, easy, everything just going to fall in place. When I'm ready, then the whole world will be ready. When I'm ready, investors are going to be there. When I'm ready, the marketing channels will be available to me to reach all the customers that I want. If that's how you're thinking, trust me, you're going to be broke. The world doesn't work that way. Once you get over 5 years old, you start realizing the world is not built around your circumstances. No one really cares. This is the big breakthrough that you have when you get out of high school. Once you get out of high school and you go to college or you just go out in the mainstream world, you realize people don't really care. Like in high school, if you don't show up, a truant officer might knock on your door and try to find you. If you pay college tuition and you don't show up at a class, they don't care. They got your money. They don't care that you're missing out on opportunities. Nobody cares. And so there's such a, it's partly our upbringing that makes us think that we're going to have a lot of opportunities. It's because our mom and dad told us, oh, everything's going to work out for you. How many times have you been told everything's going to work out for you? Did it always work out for you? Did you get to date the people you wanted to date just because your mom said you're a great catch? Just because your mom and dad said you were smart? Does that mean the rest of the world goes, oh, you're awesome. Here, take our money. We'll pay you. Whatever products you put out, we'll buy them. Nope. Never works that way, ever. I wish it did. The way it does work is that you do the opposite. You realize that your life doesn't have a lot of opportunities. And so when they come, you must cherish them. You can kind of think about dating and romance. How often have you met somebody that you were in love at first sight? Does that happen to you every 5 seconds? No, because it has to be a ton of circumstances have to come together all at once. You have to find a man or a woman that is your physical type. They have to have your personality type. They have to be single, because a lot of times you'll find that person that you knew you'd connect with, but they're married or they're dating somebody happily. So boom, you got to have that. They have to live in the same area as you for you to meet them. You have to be at the same location. They have to be having a good day when they might be having a bad day and say, I'm never going to date again. Maybe they had their heart broken. So it's so easy to miss the right person that when you actually find somebody, you better step up to them and get their phone number. I can tell you that. Who here has ever seen somebody that you know, you're at a party, you're with friends, and you're like, that's my type right there. But then you don't have the guts to take that opportunity and you pat yourself on the back and you say, well, it wasn't meant to be. My mom told me if it was meant to be, it would have happened. No, forget that. That ain't how it's going to go. What you want, you better have the courage to get. It's about that simple. And if you miss that one person, they might never come around again for 20 years. You might have to wait 20 years. In fact, my personal experience is every opportunity you miss, you will get another chance. But 10 years later. Think about that for a second. That's a bitter pill to swallow. If you're in business and you have an idea, money, let's say, you have an idea for an app or a new product. You see a hole in the business market. You know that consumers would buy this. And you hesitate. Well, there's 7 billion people in the world. Somebody else is going to jump on it. And then what? Then you get to spend the rest of your life being like, I'll tell you a true story of this rare opportunity. This is a true story. I won't say the guy's name. Don't want to embarrass him. But this guy, he was a lawyer for a company. And the owner of the company, it was a new startup. This is about 10, 15 years ago. And the dude goes, you want to invest in my company? You're my lawyer. You can see this is a pretty good deal. We got potential to make a lot of money. Who here wants to invest? Or he was talking to his lawyer and maybe another person. The lawyer said, yeah, I'll invest. So the guy was an adult, said to his lawyer, all right, here's the deal. 150 grand. And I'll give you, and he just I'll give you 10% of the company. And the lawyer goes, okay, that sounds like a good deal. Now, the lawyer, though, made a mistake. He didn't understand the rule of rare opportunity. He saw an opportunity. He was like, oh, this is cool. there's an opportunity here. But he wasn't really crazy about the idea in terms of going out and actually getting the money, because the lawyer at that time didn't have all 150 grand in his account. But he told his client who was raising money, he said, I'll tell you what, I got a barn and a little piece of land, a farm that I own. I think this was is in Washington State or something like that. It's outside Seattle. And he said, I have a little farm. I'll sell it. It should net me about 150 grand after taxes. So the guy said, cool. I'll wait a month or something for you. And the lawyer was like, I'll get to it soon. So he didn't put the land up for sale and the barn. And then he procrastinated a little more. And I know what was going on in the back of his head. He had a little bit of fear. Well, it's 150 grand. You know, this opportunity, what if it doesn't work out? And he was also probably just busy. I'm sure you've been busy and you forget stuff. Well, guess what? He never sold the land. His client found another investor. He never put the 150 grand for 10%. And now today we call that company Amazon.com, which is currently worth a couple $100 billion. So 10% would be how much money? About 30 billion. And I read an article years later about this lawyer. It's in the book, The Everything Store. You can read about this. It's a biography of Jeff Bezos and Amazon.com. And he said, you know what he said? They said, do you think about that opportunity you missed ever? And the lawyer said, oh yeah, every day. And remember I said there's two types of people? One type of person, zoom, they've missed opportunities left and right because they haven't valued opportunities. They think they don't understand that they're rare. And then you spend the rest of your life going, what if? And here's a big rule. You have to fear the what if, because the what if is the number one way to not be happy. Life's not all about money, but it is about being happy and fulfilled. I think everybody agrees with that. And if you don't understand the what if and the tyranny, that's the real tyranny that you want to avoid. The real dictator that will ruin your life at every moment is the what if. In fact, Jeff Bezos calls this regret minimalization framework. He invented a way, and that's how he actually started Amazon. He had a job on Wall Street. He was making good money, a couple $100,000 a year. And he quit that job, and somebody said, how'd you make that decision? And he said, I couldn't make that decision for a long time. Couldn't make it. Why? Because I never thought about the what if. He said the day he realized he doesn't want to be 60 years old and ask himself, what if, is the day he quit his job and started Amazon. And now he's worth $42 billion. He's worth more than Mark Zuckerberg, more than Elon Musk. He's probably the best entrepreneur of the last 20 years, Jeff Bezos, because he feared the right thing. He was precise in his fear. Most people aren't precise in their fear. Most people's fears are just wacky. I'll tell you. So, here, Sean. I have all these different programs. I've got the 67 steps. I've got a program called Accelerator. These are paid programs that I offer people on these calls. Like the 67 steps is on my website and stuff. We've had 70, 80,000 people go through that last year. And I see people, because I get a ton of emails every day and comments. I probably get 500 to 1,000 people asking me a question, either on Instagram, direct message, Twitter, Facebook comments, email me directly, whatever it is. And the most common questions are things where I can see people are afraid of all the wrong thing. People go, well, Tai, what if I go in the accelerator and it doesn't help me as much as I thought it would? I'm like, well, we have a refund policy. Then you just get your money back. And then I want to ask them back a different question. I want to go, but what if you don't go in it? What if you don't go in it and you miss one little opportunity in your life because you don't have the knowledge on how to pursue that, and you spend the rest of your life going down this path when you could have gone down this way? What if you're like that lawyer that all he had to do was sell a barn he wasn't even using? That's all he had to do. He wasn't using it. It was a little piece of land. Sell the barn, take the 150, give it to Jeff Bezos, have 10% of of Amazon, and be the richest man basically in the world. That's what one of his kids did. With 4 people were presented the Facebook to be investors in Facebook. People don't realize. 2 of them said yes, and 2 of them said no. And one of those kids, I forget what his name is. He's an Argentinian guy. Saveron, isn't that his name? Eduardo Saveron?
Yeah.
What's Eduardo Saveron's net worth? You know, he's worth millions. Millions. Billions. Not trillion. He's got how much?
5.8 billion.
5.8 billion. How much did he originally invest? Put Eduardo Severins. He understood the tyranny of the what if, and that's what he should fear. If I could be 18 again, and I could just go around, and I could just try to take advantage of opportunities, sometimes I'd make it, sometimes I would miss it. I don't care. I'd still be happier than all my friends.
It says in total came out to about 30K.
So Eduardo Severin invested $30,000 and he made $5 billion back by being one of the original investors in Facebook. Not a bad deal, right? Imagine if that's you. And here's the crazy thing. I bet you know somebody who missed out on an opportunity like that. I bet you it's your mom or dad. Because you know your mom or dad, my mom and dad grew up in the time, 70s and 80s, okay? You know how many big opportunities came in the 70s and 80s? You literally had the freaking rise of computers, technology. Then into the 90s, you had the rise of the internet, which brought all the cloud-based stuff like Netflix, like Amazon, everything. I mean, the last 20, 30 years, when your parents, uncles, aunts were adults, they missed every freaking opportunity in the world. Sometimes I want to ask. Now, like I said, my mom was a single mom, so she had a lot on her plate. So I'm not blaming her, but I'm thinking, where were all the smart people? I grew up not around rich people. I don't think I ever met a millionaire until I was in my 20s. I definitely never saw a Ferrari or a Lamborghini until I was probably 25, at least. Maybe 30 before I ever saw a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. And I'm thinking, some of these opportunities weren't even hard to see. How was it hard to see that you would sell stuff on the internet? Another thing, you know, all your parents had to do to be mega rich is when the internet domain name buying opportunity came. So they could have just bought, you used to be able to buy domain names for $100. So your parents, if they had bought 10 domain names back in the 90s, which was easy to do, technology always ends up winning. It's been winning for the last 500 years. You don't have to be a freaking genius to see that when a new technology comes out, that taking advantage of it before everybody else probably gonna make you a hell of a lot of money. So if your parents had bought anything, Match.com right now, what do you think that'd be worth? If you bought anything, Gold.com, Money.com, any word, any single 5-letter or less word, you could have picked them up. And I have friends that did that. I have a friend that bought, I forget what domain name he bought, but he bought it. It's worth now $2 million. Think about that investment. And so it's not like your parents had to be absolute geniuses, but they were afraid of the wrong thing. So your parents saw $100 and they went, $100? Let's say they had bought 10 domain names at $100 a piece. That's $1,000. $1,000. You know why they didn't? Because they spent $1,000 on something stupid. Guarantee you, your parents, friends, uncles, aunt, they spent $1,000 on flat screen TV, which is fine, but not a great investment. They didn't fear the what if, so they go through their whole life never realizing that that same $1,000 invested in the right place, that money would be working for you, literally. If you had bought the 10 correct domain names right now, you'd probably have at least a $10 million net worth from $1,000 invested. Isn't that crazy? Imagine 1,000 invested, one flat screen TV that you didn't buy, that your parents hadn't bought, and they'd be sitting on 10 million right now. How would your life be different if your parents were sitting on 10 million, or your best friend was sitting on 10 million, or you were sitting on 10 million? Oops, I think Periscope just exploded. My Periscope just popped. I'm gonna make this work again. What opportunity? Let's do a little survey. Who's missed a big opportunity and how much money do you think you missed out on? Just list it out of curiosity. Yeah, I'm just reposting. All right. What's up, Periscopers? We crashed Periscope. I'm back. Who has a big opportunity they missed? Anybody? 75 grand. Somebody missed a $300,000 one. So Hugo missed out on investing in Snapchat. Someone said I missed Derek Yoder. I missed out on free sales training from a Genius Market. My uncle owns H&M, gave my dad an opportunity. Ooh, wow, pass. Johan Friesen, I missed out on Tesla stock when it was at $29. Woof, that's crazy. Pernell Lee said it's wasted 50 grand going to university. Alberto said I missed out on a career in entertainment. Could have had a 6-figure a year income. Somebody missed out on Facebook stock. Who here missed out on Google stock? Remember what's Google's price right now? Anybody else?
725.25.
What?
725.25.
Damn. Google stock's at 725. Chad said my dad could have invested in Redbox. Yeah, those Redbox. Such a simple idea, man. Now, let's keep going. 8 things we got to get to here. Who is your master? This is huge. You have to decide at some point in your life who's going to be your master or what's going to be your master. And a lot of people like to think that they completely are their own autonomous person and that nothing will affect their income, but it's not true. Something will always be your master. You know, I've been an entrepreneur since I was 19, but I always have a boss. Your boss is your customers. You have no customers, you're out of business. It's just like getting fired. So the difference is I get to pick who my boss is. And most people don't. Now, I'll tell you who I've decided is going to be my master. You want to make more money? Pick the right boss. And it's not a boss often, or usually not a boss you're going to see in person. Somebody said, I am my own boss. Not really. You have an illusion. And here's why you're never your own boss. You're never your own boss because in the current capitalistic model, the current economy, guess what? Money flows from other people, right? Nobody here owns a printing press. You don't own the Federal Reserve and the Treasury. You're not printing dollar bills. So how are you getting those dollars? They're recirculating. So you have to have them recirculate through your bank account. It's that simple. So you always have a boss. And I'll tell you who I decided is going to be my boss. For me, I want my boss, my master, to be a few things. A, precise fear. And this is not why, this is the opposite of broad-based fear. Have you ever gone to bed at night and you just have this sinking feeling that something's wrong financially and that the next 30 days ain't going to be a good day, aren't going to be a good month for you financially? You have a sinking feeling. It's not precise. It's just kind of like, things aren't working out for me. I only had $47 in my bank account at one point. I even had less at another point. And at that juncture in my life, I remember just having a sinking feeling that I'm pretty sure things ain't working out the way that I want. Now, there's other people. This guy, Andrew, says, I don't fear anything. Well, you know what happens to the man who fears nothing? That's the first man to die in battle. Mark my words. The dude who fears nothing, the guy who sticks his head up when the snipers are waiting and goes, I'm not afraid of anything. They don't even last 5 seconds in battle. Not even 5 freaking seconds. You can be taken out. And remember, the current economy is like somebody with a sniper pointing it at you. It's ruthless. Some of you think you're tough. I'm like, I'll see if you're tough. Come and be an entrepreneur for a decade with nobody paying your bills. Try to do that. That's the real deal. That'll prove in a second. Everybody's tough behind the screen. Just remember that. In the modern world, we got keyboard warriors, man. Keyboard warriors. The whole world is a keyboard warrior. I get people so stupid. They write comments to me all day long. I'm like, yo, bro, I don't read your comments. Who are you writing them for? Yourself? Keyboard warrior? People are weak-willed, man. They're weak-willed. But just remember, as you start rising up and people start saying stuff about you, at the end of the day, money talks and bullshit walks. There'll be keyboard warriors with $50 in their bank account because nobody who has money is ever a keyboard warrior. Trust me. Why? Because you have fun things to do with your life. And most people don't. So most people are like, I don't have jack shit to do, so I'm going to write. I'm going to write on forums. I see people writing on forums, I'm like, this whole forum is literally the personification of people who have a pointless life. I always say, if I ever get to the point when the only thing I can do is be a keyboard warrior, please shoot me. Please take me out of my misery. I beg you. I would rather be, here's my philosophy on life. You blaze through life or you don't live at all. That's how I want to be. I'm like, but I learned that from the Amish. You know what's cool about the Amish? When the Amish get old and they're going to die because they find out they have cancer, they just die. They don't spend 20 years lingering in pain. I read that 80% of the U.S. medical bill is keeping people alive an extra 6 weeks that are going to die anyway. My favorite poem is by Chief Tecumseh, and he says, and when it comes your time to die, or he says, when it comes your time to cross the great divide, don't be like those who weep and ask for a little more time to live their life over again. He said, sing your death song and die like a hero going home. I'm like, yes, that is how you want to live. That's how you want to live. You live that way, you're going to have a good life. Because you'll be blazing through life. And then when it comes your time to die, you just stop. It's going to stop for all of us. When you're going to make money, go out and try to make massive amount of money. For you, massive could be 80 grand. It could be 800 grand. It could be 8 million. Blaze. I'm not talking about this kind of blaze. You blaze too much like that, you definitely aren't blazing through life. You know, people are weak, man. That's why they got to diminish. That's the real reason, like Freud said. He says the pain of life for most people is too much. So they have to distract themselves. Oh, I'm like, that's why I said, if I get to the point where my whole life's a distraction, I'm like, just take me out. I'll go home. Wherever, whatever happens after life, I'm gonna go. I'll go there. Maybe nothing, maybe something. But while I'm here, I'm gonna have precise fear, and I have fear about one thing. I do not fear losing all my money. Maybe I'll lose all my money. Easy. Maybe I'll lose all my money. Maybe I'll lose all Ferraris and Lamborghinis. Maybe I won't be here in Beverly Hills. Maybe I'll be back to living in a mobile home, or maybe I'll be back to Long Beach, where I was born. But you know what? It won't change what I fear. And what I fear is living a crap life. That's it. A life full of what ifs. A life full of the opposite of regret minimization, which is regret maximization. A life full of random fears. Like people are like, well, what happens if I lose $1,000? I would have hoped if I had been an adult in the 80s when all these opportunities that I would have tried. You know a crazy story? I won't say who, but someone I grew up with, an adult, they went to college and wrote a paper on how you should invest $10,000 in Walmart. True story. I remember this. I was a little kid. I forget what year, it was 90s or whatever. Somebody said, and he wrote an article, invest $10,000 in Walmart. And he said in the article, you'll be worth whatever, 10 million bucks. And he was exactly right. And he always tells the story that he was exactly right with his prediction. And I asked him, did you actually do it? He said, no, I just wrote the paper. And that's the epitome of what I'm talking about. I said, why didn't you actually follow what you wrote? And he said, well, I was afraid of losing $10,000. And I said, but you're not afraid of being somebody telling a story how you predicted your own millionaire status but forgot to follow through? I'm like, you should be petrified of that. Be petrified of stuff. And it's interesting. I've been doing these talks now for a while, the last 6 months or something. And a lot of it's been an experiment. An experiment. If I tell people 70,000 people went through the 67 steps, it's everything that I learned from my 5 mentors. My mentality is everybody listening should buy it. Why? Because you buy it on a credit card, which has a guarantee from Visa, MasterCard that you can get a refund. They call those chargebacks. You can't lose. So if somebody comes to me, anything, I buy $50,000 to $100,000 worth of training for myself every month. Why? Because I'm petrified. I have precise fear about what if I miss out on something and this is my last year on the planet and I miss it. So I'm petrified of missing out on knowledge. So I'll buy, dude, I get consultants come in. If they're 15 grand for 3 hours lunch, I'll pay them 15 grand. I pay, man, I pay. I'm investing my money. Somebody said FOMO, fear of missing out. No. You don't want FOMO on things outside of your control, but you want things within your control to have FOMO. Don't miss out on the things within your control. If you see somebody that you're attracted to, go talk to them. Every time, 100% of the time. Who cares if 90% of the time it ain't going to work out? Because that 10% that it does is your rare opportunity that'll change your life forever. If you see a book and everybody's reading it, there's some books I've recommended everybody read. People still don't buy it. There's a book by Sam Walton. He built Walmart. On his deathbed, he wrote out 10 rules of building a business. He made $160 billion. He made more than any entrepreneur of the last 100 years. Yet, people still haven't bought that book. The book cost $5. I'm going, how stupid is planet Earth today that you have 500 million people just in North America, well, 300 million people in North America that haven't read that book. It's insane. There's 7 billion people never read that book, even though you can get the book free or $1 or $2 on Amazon. I know why, because everybody thinks they have lots of opportunity. He laid out the 10 rules of building a $1 billion company. People still won't read it. I built this accelerator program. I've let in 2,900 people since May when I opened it. And it's like I put in 100 hours of the most cutting edge. It's so cutting edge I couldn't even put it in a book, because by the time I wrote the book, it would be outdated. I've got in there, I have Mark Cuban, the billionaire, come record videos with me. Billionaire, you ever learn from a billionaire? People will, you know how much money people will spend on college professors teaching them? USC is $65,000 a year. But you ain't learning from a billionaire, you're learning from a professor who never made $1 billion. People will spend 65 grand on that. I'm like, are you crazy? I'm not saying you can't spend money on college. I didn't go to school. I dropped out of college, but I'm not saying everybody has to drop out of college, but I'll tell you this, I never get it so twisted up that I'm going to spend more money learning from people who have never made money than I will spend on people who have made money. When I meet people who have made money, in the accelerator, if you guys don't know, the accelerator is this home study course. You can watch it on your phone, computer. It's a paid program I have. It's kind of like this talk, but it's a 4-month program. And you learn everything that they didn't teach you in school about money, basically. So I recorded this. Started out, I recorded it for my employees and the people that I train to run companies for me. But then I made it public in May of last year. And I let 3,000 people in it. And those 3,000 people, it's insane. I have a 100% refund policy. Basically, nobody ever gets a refund. Almost never. Few times people have hospital bills or something like that. But I give them, I'm like, you can get all your money back. You can go through it for 4 months. Well, no, we have a 2 month. You can go through it for 60 days. If you don't like it, you can get all your money back. People are still too afraid. I'm like, you know what? When I meet people like that, I'm like, I want to look them in the eye and shake them and just say, listen to me. If this fear is too much for you, you'll never have money, because people who are afraid are always paralyzed. And when you're paralyzed, you don't act. And when you don't act, you don't get. That's how life goes. If you see a girl or a guy that you're interested in and you are paralyzed, they'll never magically just show up in your phone with a little note that says, here's my number, let's go out. That's never happened in the history of planet Earth. Ever. So why do people still do it? Think about it. It's because they should just change their fear. So if you could be afraid of not talking to them, afraid of being alone, you should conjure up images in your head of being alone, of nobody liking you, of not having a date. When all your friends are in love, you're a loser at home. If you think about that, that'll get you unparalyzed. Then you'll walk up to them and be like, hey, how are you? Did you guys see that little Instagram video I posted today? I posted a video with his little 7-year-old kid. It was hilarious. He's like, yo, let me show you how to do this. And there's a girl, there's a girl videoing him, and he says, you got to go see it. But he's like, has a whole bunch of swagger. And I was thinking, this kid has it right. Fear the paralysis of inaction. Really. I looked through my life. For example, when I was broke, sleeping on a couch, people see Ferraris and Lamborghinis now. But back then, I didn't even have a car. I didn't have a house. I was sleeping on a couch in a mobile home in Clayton, North Carolina. And what got me off the couch was action. And it wasn't even the perfect action. Looking back, I could have done it better, but at least I did something. And so many people in the modern world, I'm not sure why. I think there's multiple factors. I think we grew up with parents that were procrastinators, with an educational system that encourages you to just look at things without taking action. So they teach you math, but they don't teach you how to apply the math. So therefore, nobody wants to learn math that's just up in your head. If you taught kids math from the standpoint of here's how to count your money, then people want to know how to count their money. So if you put it into action and into perspective, all of a sudden people are going to pay attention. You could have learned the stock market at 7 years old. That's when Warren Buffett started learning the stock market. And they could have given you a little trading account. It could be a fake trading account with fake money. But you could have gone through and started investing in the stock market at 7. Let me just ask you this question right now. If at 7 years old, you had started investing in the stock market, your mom, dad, uncle, a school teacher had looked over your shoulder and said, let me show you a few little tricks. Now you're 7, so you're not going to understand that much, but they go, here's a stock. You can own a little piece of a company. Here's $500. Let's see if you can get it to 1,000. And you're a little kid and you'd be like, I like this toy. I like whatever, Transformers. So you invest in the company. I don't know who owns Transformers, whatever. Mattel. So you invest in Hasbro or Mattel. And all of a sudden one day you wake up and your account's gone from $500 to $600. Now, you know what happens as a little kid? They call that neuroplasticity. Your brain, the dopamine parts of your brain, the reward centers of your brain start to get triggered. And you start going, interesting. I put 500 and all of a sudden my money starts to work for me. You would understand that, mark my words, at 7 years old. You would understand. Because what if your parent now was real smart and said, you know what? This is play money, but because you did such a good job, son or daughter, I'm going to give you that $100 you made on your account in cash. Here you go. Man, when I was 7, if somebody had given me $100, I would have lost my mind. I'll tell you why. My allowance was $1 a week growing up. I remember I had to do lots of chores, and my mom, she couldn't afford that much, so she used to give me $4 a month. I remember $1 was like a lot. My mom for Christmas she always told me growing up, Tai, I can only afford $200 for you. So I'd get $200 budget. So if somebody gave me $100 at 7 years old, because you're smart at 7. People always underestimate little kids. You would have been reading books on the stock market. Come 8 years old, 9 years old, 10, you might have learned stock options. You might have started to understand the underpinning of the financial system. I knew one of my mentors, Richard, he's the guy I talk about in my TEDx talk. He started learning about the stock market when he was 12, so a little bit older. And he said, he's now a billionaire. I just found this out. I think he's a billionaire. It's hard for me to know, but I think he has $2 billion. I found in a roundabout way. But he has a ton of money, a ton. He has mad money, okay? He's got houses all over the world he doesn't even use, big ones in Beverly Hills and stuff. And he said, Tai, when I was 12, I started learning about the stock market. By the time I was 16, I started to really master it. And I started making so much money. This is hilarious. His parents had an intervention. You ever seen an intervention? Because they thought he was selling drugs because he had so much money. He said 1 month when he was 17, he made $100,000. This is in the 70s. He's older now. He's in like 65 or 70. Even today, if I at 16 years old had made 100 grand in 1 month, I would have lost my mind. I probably wouldn't even be alive. I'd have gone crazy. Gone to Vegas, died of an overdose or something. I don't know what it would be. But he said his parents brought him in and he had to show them the trade confirmations because they wouldn't believe him. They thought he was selling drugs and doing illegal stuff. So take that back to your life. You've been robbed already. All the things you should be mad about. and me too, all the things that we should fear, they already happened. That's the thing that gets me. People are always like, well, should I go in the accelerator? Is it a scam? I'm like, you already were scammed. What are you talking about? You worried about future scams? What about the scam called life that we live in the modern world? At every turn, it's a scam. You go to McDonald's, you go to Taco Bell, you buy food. Oh, it's only $1. It's $1 because it kills you. And then we have to spend the money subsidizing the medical system and the pharmaceutical system and healthcare to take care of a whole bunch of fat people. It doesn't cost $1. You know how it costs $1? Taco Bell Corporation and McDonald's gets food subsidies in agricultural form, okay, at a massive billion dollar level, 100 billion, even probably $1 trillion level. So they can get food which degrades the environment, which destroys the workers, literally, who are processing that food, destroys the people's lives who work at the fast food, and then destroys the people that eat it and the nation of people who eat it. That's the scam. Where's the 5 million people protesting outside of fast food today? Just tell me that. Where's 5 million people today protesting the fact that you got complete education system feeding kids sugar at 6 and 7 years old, then when they get hyper, giving them ADD medication, which the pharmaceutical companies make big money from. So Coca-Cola makes money on here, then it flows through to the pharmaceutical companies, and the only people being hurt are the kids. What kind of nation poisons its own kids for profit? So don't tell me about scam. I'm like, you already are fucking scam, bro. You just too stupid to realize it. I never get in my head go, oh, well, I don't see that. What do you mean? See the truth. See the truth. I can tell you right now. Somebody says sugar doesn't make you hyper. Oh, please. Please. What, you never been around kids? Give a whole bunch of kid candies. What do you think's going to happen? I hope each of you will have massive fear about real stuff. Real stuff. Massive. Let me just say what massive means. Massive means tonight you will be not able to sleep because you realize you have massively been tricked by society. I hope you will be petrified. Come here for a second, John. Give me a piece of paper for a second. Somebody said, Ty, are you popping pills? These are cashews. Do you call these pills? Some people eyesight not so good. You might need some of these glasses, bro. Ask publishing that.
Okay.
I hope tonight all you can think about and tomorrow night is I am in big trouble. By the way, if Facebook cuts off, I'll reset it because Facebook only gives you an hour and a half and then it resets because I'm going to give you these next ones. So nowadays, I have very precise fear. I think every day, okay, what's the quality of my life? And here's a test. I'm going to give you a test that's very powerful. Number 6. Oh, can you come swap the board, Maddie? I'll show you the precise fear. And this is the one thing, and it's a little way of testing yourself. Let me reset. I'm going to reset Facebook now. Give me a second. I'm going to all you Facebookers, just pop back in 1 second. Because you don't want to miss this. People are always asking me for this one tool. I haven't talked about it for a while. How many we have here? We had 34,000. Damn. 35,000 people watched that, been watching. So we're going back to, man, I got this phone hot. We getting this phone gonna burn up. Here we go. We might explode this phone. Yeah, this phone's starting to... So much for iPhones being better, right? Damn it. The fuck? What is up with this bad boy? All right. We going to pop in here. Holy crap. 3, 2, 1. Boom. We back on Facebook. Somebody said, haha, prove it, Ty. Ricardo, are you retarded? I just put it on the screen and you can just go to Facebook and look. All you all people that are retarded, I'm going to start calling you out. This dude said, can you prove that you had 34,000 people on Facebook? Yeah, go to my Facebook and you can see it says 34,000 people. And it's 34,900. So learn to read. Okay. What number were we on? No, I forgot. So now we're on 6, right? 6. I said I'm going to give you 8 things to making money. This is the test. I want you to try this test on yourself right now. Try this test. Because I love, personally, just so you know, one of the ways I live my life is by doing all kinds of tests against myself. Because it's so easy to be delusional about ourselves. It's so easy to overestimate our skills. It's also easy to underestimate. Most people you know either have too much self-esteem. Do you have a friend like that? Because I have a friend. This dude, we were just talking about him yesterday, me and Jeremy. This guy had he has so much pride with no justification. He's never done anything good in his life. We've known him since 13. But this dude's so cocky. And I'm like, why are you that cocky? Now, on the flip side, I know people, and I'm sure you know people, that have way more potential than they live up to. You know, that's another horrible side of the coin. People that have way more potential but don't live up to it. I hope you're neither one of them. I hope you don't underperform your talent or overperform. And the way to know and the way to keep yourself, I'm going to show you, is in this test. So what I like to do is use the old school 1 through 10 technique. 1 being horrible and 10 being, amazing. But before I do that, I want to try this test. Survey right now. Whose life would you trade for? Just name somebody. It can be a celebrity, it can be an athlete, it can be a politician, it can be an entrepreneur, it can even be a fictional character. If right now you could snap your fingers, and we're talking about making money so you can apply somebody making a lot of money, who would you exchange for? Somebody said Will Smith, Steve Jobs, Dan Bilzerian. Dan Bilzerian was over at my house the other day. Wiz Khalifa, Ronaldo, Carlos Slim, Manny Koshman, The Rock, yours, I guess you're talking about me, Mark Cuban, Tai Lopez, Lionel Messi, Elon Musk, the founder of Instagram, Neymar. We got a lot of Elon Musks, Skrillex. Now, question for you, and this is where the test gets a little more gritty. Would they trade for your life at all? Somebody said Mimi Icon, Justin Bieber, Muhammad Ali. Someone said Warren Buffett, Bill Gates. Would they trade for your life? So the person who said to me, Elon Musk, would Elon Musk trade for you? Somebody said James Bond. Now, if they wouldn't even remotely, some of you are writing, hell no. If the way you see your life is that your biggest idols wouldn't even remotely fathom fathom trading for your life, then you need to be afraid tonight. And you need to be afraid it's not going to work out and that you better fix it really, 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 really fast. Because if you don't, it doesn't get better. And this is where people get confused. It gets worse. Is there anything, let's take Elon Musk. Is there anything that Elon Musk would trade for in your life? Let's just take financially. Because maybe you don't have money now, but maybe you're on your way. Anything. Is there anything that The Rock would trade for in your life? Because you said you'd trade for The Rock's life. How about Oprah Winfrey? Women here. Would any of you trade to be Oprah Winfrey? She's got $2 billion. She helps the world. She lives an awesome life. She does whatever she wants. Whoever she doesn't want to be around, she's not around. She hangs out with the president. She hangs out, helps orphans. She helps people get out of debt. She has pretty good damn life. Is there any area of life? Because I will tell you this. Even if you're broke right now watching this, so you might go, Ty, of course someone wouldn't want to be me. But they might want to be you if you had a twinkle in your eye, if you had potential. Because remember, Elon Musk is 50 almost. So if you're younger, he might trade for you if he thinks he could take your life and leverage it into something bigger than he has now. So if you're 30 years old watching this, he might trade. So some of you are young, therefore they would trade. But I'll tell you this, Elon Musk I think he's 45. He does, what, 44? He doesn't want to trade for some crappy 28-year-old's life. He'd rather stay 44. This is a test that I do on myself every day, basically. I literally go, is the direction I'm taking my life today? Because I know some of these people. I was lucky. I was lucky the other day at the Golden Globe. I was at the Golden Globe after party. Some of you saw, it's my Snapchat and stuff. And I was with Elon Musk. I was with them in the summer too, a little bit. Got to talk with them and got to talk to him again a couple weeks ago, whenever the Golden Globes were. He's a fascinating dude. And one thing that I think about is there anything in my life right now that he would trade for? And the answer is, some of these cool guys like my life. I can't speak for Elon Musk, but Mark Cuban was here for 5 hours. He was like, this is freaking cool. You guys, some of you seen the videos? He was like, this is pretty damn cool. How the hell are you pulling this off? What are you doing? Now, I'm not saying I have a better life than Mark Cuban, but I'm saying if you live your life right, they start thinking about it and going, interesting. What's going on here? Now, he has a lot more money than me. But it doesn't mean he doesn't think, interesting life. And this is the end of the day, what you must do. You must have an interesting freaking life. You must have a life where other people go, what the hell is this person doing? And you can't do that if you're always broke. You can't do that if you're always paralyzed by inaction. You can't do that if you're always fearful. You just can't do it. Nobody wants to look at a life that sucks because it's procrastination, fear, frozen, paralyzed. Nobody looks at that life and goes, woo, what's going on there? And so this is called the reverse engineer trick. And I got this from Warren Buffett. Well, Warren Buffett said, if you're watching this right now and you don't know what to do to change your financial situation, you don't know, you're paralyzed. Okay? then guess what? Follow this rule. Here's how you do it. Warren Buffett said, if you had $1 million and you could only invest it in one person, who would the person be? I want everyone to think of that. Write down a name. Remember, we're going to give away 4 iPad minis. Those of you watching, you can be one of the people. We'll do one, and I'm just going to take a note and ask a question from a random detail on today's call. So hopefully you're taking notes. But my question for you is, who, if you had $1 million, and let's say you can't invest in yourself, we'll just pretend for right now, just for this exercise. Who would you invest in? It could be somebody from high school. It could be an entrepreneur. It could be a celebrity. Who would you invest in? Somebody said my dad, my brother, my wife. Nobody would invest in Elon Musk or Warren Buffett. I think if you had given Warren Buffett $10,000 in the 1960s, you'd have $50 million today. Kim Kardashian, someone said. Someone said Sam Walton. Casey Neistat. Henry Ford. Now just think back when you're in high school. Who would you have invested in your high school class? The smartest kid, the valedictorian, the captain of the football team? What would be your criteria for investing? $1 million. That's all the money you can ever get back is whoever you invest. So you better invest wisely because in this hypothetical, that's it. Somebody said the clever one. Just say a name. The art kid in my high school, the most committed. Just say a specific person. Think of somebody back when you're in high school. Everybody can remember when they were in school. Some of you might even still be in school. Jake Allen, somebody said. Jamie Dimon, Jeff Bozar, Jackie Fresco, Logan Paul. In this game, you can't invest in yourself. Mark Hubbard, Adam Favell. Now, I like this. You guys are doing it right. Stephen Woolley, Gates, Chris Sanchez, Tina Garcia, Corey Owens. So we got some specific names. Ben Davis. Somebody said their teacher. Okay. We'll accept that. Mitch Huffengall. Now, think about this. Why would you have invested in them? And then you have to become that person. This is the reverse engineering trick. You take whatever it is you would invest, whoever it would be, whatever attributes, and you become that person. It'll change your life forever. You become that person that you would invest in. It's so simple that no one will do it. Would that person be high on the fear scale? Would they be afraid a lot? Would they procrastinate a lot? Would they read a lot? Would they have mentors? Would they be investing in courses in themselves? Would they be investing in books? Would they be going to conferences? Or would they be at home? Would they be a keyboard warrior? Would they have a lot of analysis, a paralysis by overanalysis? Would they be entrepreneurially minded? Blah. Would they be somebody who spends a ton of time worrying about being scammed? Would it be somebody who, when they have $1,000, buys 10 domain names? Or would it be people who, when they have $1,000, buys a flat screen TV? Would they invest in things that rust, rot, and depreciate? Would they, at 7 years old, have learned about the stock market? Or when they were 7, been watching only Sesame Street? Like most adults do. Who would you invest in? And then you become that exact person. It's not that hard. Would they understand ROI? Would they understand IRR? Would they understand return on tangible assets? I'll tell you some of the things that I would look for. A, right here, A. Actually, A is number 7 here. You know what I would look for? If I could find one thing to invest in, because let's say we're specifically talking about money. I'm not talking about any other, I'm not talking about who has the best body or six pack or who has, the cutest girlfriend. We're talking about money on today's call. You know what I would look for? Two things. Language of money and can read people. That's it. You give me somebody with those two skills. They know the language of money and they know how to read people. Because when you read people, you can adjust what you're saying. You can meet them where they are. You can be highly persuasive. And being persuasive is very correlated, extremely correlated with your income over your lifetime. Very. Josh Gale says, Tai, you have almost 1,000 watchers. No, that's on Meerkat. You got to go on all of them. I have about 50,000 people watching right now. So if you're on Meerkat, that's the smallest one. Not many people use Meerkat, but I pop in here. Facebook has the most. We have about 30, what did I say, 39,000? We're just on the first 35 plus now. We'll probably have 50,000 on Facebook. YouTube will have another 50,000. We usually get about 20,000. My goal was to hit 100,000 people. When you set goals, just a little side note for you guys, I always set goals very specific. When I started doing live streaming on Periscope, Meerkat, YouTube, and now I'm Facebook verified, so I can do Facebook too. I said, I want to hit 100,000, then I want to go to 1 million people. I can talk to 1 million people in 72 countries anytime there's cool ideas or, cool things to share. And now we're hitting 50 to 100,000. So I'm not there yet. Always set goals for yourself that motivate you and push you. I got to push myself to get. Not a lot of people, it's not that easy to get 50 to 100,000 people to pay attention to a talk on money on a Sunday when everybody else is watching football and stuff like that, or going on vacation or whatever. So it's pretty, Facebook has, you have to look, just so you guys know, because people are always trying to figure out the numbers. You'll see at the end, it'll tell you, because remember, people pop in and out. So usually you'll get about 5,000 simultaneous people watching on all 5 platforms, or on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, Meerkat, and then people come and go. So 5,000 people at a time, and you'll have about 10 rounds of people if I talk for 2 or 3, 4 hours. Anyway, back to this. These are the skills you must possess. You must know the language of money. If I would invest in you or invest in myself, these are the things that I would look at. And I would add, they must have powerful social skills. If you don't have powerful social skills, you are violating the rule that everybody learned as a little kid. It's not what you know, it's who you know. I can't tell you how many big breaks I've gotten in life because I knew how to deal with people. If you don't know how to deal with people, most people I meet are either too aggressive, they're always aggressive with people, or they're too passive. And they're always passive and they're always being walked on. And you can't be either one. You can't be too strong, because if you're too strong, some people are going to find you arrogant or annoying. If you're too weak, people are going to use you for their best interests, not your own. Now, that's not the only thing. You also must understand the language of money. And this is where the school system failed us. Every person that I meet, myself included, we came out of school knowing on a 1 to 10 scale in the language of money, maybe a 1. Maybe we were a 1. Somebody said, Tai, what if you have social anxiety? You must overcome social anxiety. Why? Because it's hard to make money when no one wants to be around you. It's just simple fact. Even somebody like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs that weren't the greatest socially, they said they had to get better. You just have to be good. You have to be able, or else, like I said, you're either going to turn people off by being overly aggressive, or you're going to be stepped on at all times and be used for other people's best interest and not your own. And if you can get that fine balance, I invented a system that I've been using for years called the PACE system, P-A-S-E. And you can, P-A-S-E. And with the PACE system, P stands for practical, A stands for action-oriented person, S stands for social, E stands for emotional. Each of you, if I was to meet you in person right now, if you were pop here in the screen, from the screen to reality in my office here, I would be able to classify you as a P, an A, an S, or an E. One dominant, one is your weakest, and then two are usually in the middle. So I am an APES. That's my personal breakdown. I'm an APSE. I mean APES. Some of you are a, ESPA or SE. There's multiple combinations that you can be. And the good news is whatever you are, you can thrive. But you have to learn how to read people because, for example, if you're talking to a person in a business setting or a social setting who is an A, you have to show a completely different side of yourself first compared to if they're an E. A and E's are opposite, and P's and S's are opposite. So basically the rule of thumb that I use is that these two outsides go together and the insides go together. So if I am approached by an S, I'll either be an S or an A. If I'm approached by a P, I'll either be that, a P or an E. You can always reflect back what somebody is to themselves. People always love themselves. So if they're a P, you can be a P back. And remember, it's about being genuine. Every person has all facets of these four attributes in their own life. So you don't have to be somebody you're not, but you do have to meet people where they're ready to meet. E people are emotional, they're fear-based, they're scared, they operate out of high sensitivity and wanting to protect themselves. So in a social setting, maybe it's a bit, for example, Elon Musk is an E, okay? And now that I know that, the first time I met him, I didn't know I need to meet people. You can't just read a book. Sometimes you can read a book, but after I met the first time Elon Musk this summer, I realized he's a strong E. Now this time at the Golden Globes 2 weeks ago, E for emotional, when I met him, I exactly knew how to approach Elon Musk. It was a completely different, and I'll tell you, I went up to Elon Musk when he was leaving and people were trying to talk to him, and I went up to him and I talked to him, and then his girlfriend or wife, I can never tell which she is, she started pulling on him, and he told me, he's like, I gotta go now. But I asked him a question that was so in line with how he saw the world. I kid you not, I actually have it on video. I'll post it on my YouTube. He walks away and he comes back to me and he goes, wait, I want to talk to you. And he finished. And if you can get billionaires and guys like Elon Musk to come back, that's how you know the system works. And it took me a long time to learn those social skills, and now I get to practice them on much higher level people. If you watch my Instagram and stuff, I just had lunch with Larry David. Larry David is also an E, like Elon Musk. Larry David, the producer and creator of Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm. Him and Jerry Seinfeld made $1 billion here in Hollywood, and he's an E. So I know how to approach an E. I had lunch with him. I posted a YouTube video a couple days ago. And that's a guy, he never lets anybody film him. I got him to let me film him. You try to look anywhere on the freaking internet for a random selfie lunch video with somebody with Larry David, you won't find it. How did I do that? I created this system. It's very powerful. Pace is powerful, dude. People are always asking me, oh, how are you having lunch with Larry David and dinner with the owner of the Lakers and Chris Paul and all this kind of stuff? I'm like, dude, the system's powerful. Unfortunately, I didn't learn this crap growing up. And the other thing is, you got to know the language of money. Because people don't like to hang out with super broke people. You don't have to be a billionaire. You don't have to be a millionaire. But people like attracts like. It's hard to go to the Golden Globes party where Elon Musk is going to even be. There's not a whole lot of broke people there. Now, you don't have to be a millionaire or a billionaire necessarily, but it doesn't hurt to have a little money in your bank account. And so in life, that's why I say who I would bet on. You show me the people. You, if you know the language of money, which basically nobody freaking knows in the world, and you know how to read people and use the pay system, you will be a beast. People will ask you. It's very interesting. You know, I don't mean this to brag, but it's been very interesting test. Like I told you, Elon Musk, he comes back to me. It was mind-blowing. I was with Maya and James, and he just came back. He left. People pulled him away, and he came back. And I was like, wait, I want to talk to you. Because I asked him, I was talking to him on books. You know, I interviewed Hillary Clinton recently, controversial person. I'm not really political, but it was fascinating. Same thing. I've seen it over and over. The most powerful people in the world are still people, and you can still get their attention if you know how to do it. But if you don't know the pay system, you will fail every time. Trust me, I've failed. I've fallen flat on my face. If you don't know how to read people, you not only will mess it up, but they'll remember you as that weird person they're never going to talk to again. I've seen that too. I brought some of my friends with me when I meet people now and go to social settings where there's a lot of high-powered people, and sometimes I can't bring my friends because they mess it up. And part of it is also they don't know the language of money. When I had dinner with Larry David, you know, kind of concluded going, wow, Tai, a lot of people want to have lunch with me, but I learned a lot from you. And when I had lunch, Jeannie Buss, she's the owner of the Lakers, the president of the Lakers. She said the same thing. And I'm not bragging, and I'm not saying, oh, look how great I am. What I'm saying is the system works. And if you can learn the system, they will say that about you. It won't just be me. It's not an exclusive club that only Tai gets that opportunity. You can get it too. And if you get it right, think of the rewards. Not only will you make a hell of a lot more money if you know the language of money and know how to read people. Not only that, but you know what else will happen? Remember that test earlier? People will start going, I want to be like that person. They will want to trade lives with you. And you shouldn't get a big head over that, but you should see it as a signal that your life's on the right track. When people want to trade for your life, you are on the right track. Mark my words. You can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. Never forget that. When people start going, if you've seen that Will Smith movie, that's another guy I got to hang out with recently. Will Smith. I went to Rihanna. You guys, I posted a video. I went to this Rihanna's charity dinner. It's cool. Rihanna put me in her little, there was a dinner thing, like when you were eating at a charity, and you can see it. I posted it in there. Got her to put my name in there and stuff. It was kind of cool. And people saw that and they're like, dude, you're hanging out with Rihanna. You're hanging out with Will Smith. How do you do that? And it made me think of that Will Smith movie, The Pursuit of Happiness. Have you ever seen that? And Will Smith goes, he saw this guy pull up, was it a Porsche or a Ferrari? Ferrari. And he walked up and he said, who are you? Wait, how does it go? What do you do? What do you do and how do you do it? And I remember thinking, that's one of the greatest movies, by the way, anybody can ever watch if you want to change your life. Pursuit of Happiness, Will Smith. That's a real damn movie. Heather Ballot said, name dropping. No, Heather, I know you're a little bit slow, but I'm explaining to you a principle, Heather. Heather, get your head out of your ego. Whenever people try to point out your ego, people, it's always their ego. Never forget that. Whenever you come looking nice to a party and you go, I kind of look nice. Whenever your friend goes, oh, you're just bragging, that's because your friend wants the compliment. Any normal friend will be like, you do look nice. Heather, that's the way the world works. Get it together. Come on now. I'm explaining an end game goal that every person on this call can get to. Everybody can get to the place where your friends start going, yo, what are you doing? I want that. And think of how much better the world would be if people who are doing the right thing, okay, whatever the right thing is for you, start getting other people going, that's what I want. Because you know the world we live in now? We live in a world right now where people are looking up to dumb people. I won't say names. Go watch TV. All the things that people are watching, you know what they're watching? They're watching people that nobody should aspire to be. I won't say names, but a lot of the popular pop culture figures, what are they famous for? Nothing. And people want to be them. And millions of kids want to be them. I'm thinking, what? I don't get it. But I do. There's a vacuum. There's a vacuum in the world. You can help fill the vacuum. And the vacuum is people doing real shit. That's powerful. That's powerful. And then other people see it and go, I want to do that. That's called healthy competition. And you want a world with massive, healthy competition. Imagine if the number one thing that kids wanted right now is to have a six-pack and to be financially independent, to understand the language of money. What if millions of kids were rapping about money? But not I have bling, but they're talking about the knowledge behind getting the money. They're rapping about entrepreneurialism. That's the real thing. Everything else is just, sometimes, I like Kendrick Lamar because he raps about something that's like real. But a lot of this stuff being put out there, and I know, I've seen the inside. I live in Hollywood. I know how the music industry works. Money. All these stupid songs, every time you listen to it, they get paid. They get paid. Like I was saying earlier, if you're worried about the scam, you're already in the scam. Learn the language of money first. Now, what is the language of money? I always tell people, at my conference, I had 700 people there, smart people. And I said, anybody want to get up here and see if you can go 20 minutes without me being able to stump you, without me being able to ask you a question about the language of money that you can't answer? You should be able to go 20 minutes. There's literally 500 million people that I could say, I'm going to talk to you for 20 minutes about your favorite sports team, and I wouldn't be able to stump them. I could be like, what year did your favorite team win the championship last? World Cup. If I said, let's say you're from Argentina, and I say, what years did you win the World Cup? People speak the language of football and soccer a lot. They'll start talking, oh, well, this and this and this and this and Messi and that, and we won this year, and, Maradona and all that. So they know the language of money a ton. The language of soccer a lot. Football's coming up. I'm going to be going to the Super Bowl. If I talk to people about Super Bowl and I go, let's talk about the languages of football. Super Bowl. Who won the last Super Bowl? Who's in it? Who's the leading linebacker? Blah, 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 all that. Guess what? People will be able to talk for an hour. But if I ask people anything about, did Facebook pause? Or is it still running for you guys?
It's still running on mine right here.
Okay. But if I talk to people about money, they can't talk for 5 minutes. If I go, what's the difference between ROI and IRR? What's return on tangible assets? Is it frozen? Oh, we're breaking Facebook again. Boom. Facebook, you can't handle us. Try refresh again. Told you, we're blowing this bad boy up. Try it again. It's funny how Facebook kind of explodes. You would think it wouldn't matter.
It doesn't look like it.
Is it on your phone working?
Yeah, it's working.
Okay.
Delayed, but
We back, Facebook?
sometimes they mess with it.
No, but you can see on there, it ain't going.
At the office, they said it never stopped. It's still going.
It's going?
Yeah.
It was just saying flash.
Yeah,
Did Nathan just pop in there? Wait, how did Nathan get in? Wait, that's a different one.
That's the beginning of this whole thing.
Yeah, but go to the final one. Oh, now it just exploded. All right, we're going to go on part 3 on Facebook. Damn you, Facebook. Get it together.
They said it never stopped until just now. Facebook is good if you get live. They say it's going.
No, it stopped on my phone. It just crashed out. We're back. Facebook. I've blown up Facebook twice. You'd think Facebook would be able to handle all this. How am I going to hit my goal of 1 million people watching if you can't even handle 50,000? I have to call Facebook. But in this sad world that people can talk so much about sport, I like sports, by the way. I'm not anti-sports, but I'm never so stupid that I care more about sports than my own happiness. Never. And most people are that. I told you, people distract themselves away from the truth. You need to be able to have this test in your own brain. For 20 minutes, a smart person can talk about the language of money, and you can answer every question just like it was your favorite sports team, your favorite celebrity's life. People follow, everybody knows everything about the Kardashians. You could be like, who's the youngest sister? People are like, oh, it's blah, blah, blah. I don't even know who it is, but whoever it is, 1 million people can answer that. 100 million people can answer that. It's weird. So if I start saying to you, language of money, guys, what's return on tangible assets? Who here instantly knows what that means? Who here instantly knows what goodwill is in an accounting measure? Because you need to understand goodwill, and that's a financial term, by the way. I'm not talking about goodwill like the secondhand store. That's a different kind of goodwill. That's when you're poor and you got to go to Goodwill. I'm talking about the financial aspects of goodwill. Who here understands? Because if you understood this system and your income started going up, now it starts getting easier to understand the language of money. One of the reasons I never cared about the language of money growing up is I never thought I had a chance to make much money. When you think you have no chance at making money, you never have money. That's kind of how it goes. And you never try to pursue money. Somebody said, William Kovakovich says, then where can you learn it? So we've been talking about the language of money. I do talks on language of money. Also, in a few minutes, I'm going to open up the accelerator before all these things start to break here, Facebook and stuff. I'll open up the accelerator. That's a paid program that I have that you can go through a 4-month home study course. It's very powerful. I've let in 3,000 people since May. There's an application. You can fill out an application today to be in that accelerator. Some of you going to try to learn it on your own. Be my guest. It's going to take you 10 years longer than if you do the accelerator. I will tell you that because I tried it the slow way and I tried it the fast way. And if I could go back in time and be 18 again, I would do it the fast way. And the fast way is let people show you who have already made a lot of money themselves. That's all I do now. People always ask me, dude, how did you get a Lamborghini or Ferrari or whatever? I'm like, easy. I started hanging around with people who having a Lamborghini and Ferrari is chump change. People always say, how do you become a millionaire? Oh, easy. Hang out with people that making $1 million in a year would be their worst year of the last 10 years. Then it'll get easier to make money. Trust me. It resets your mental barometer. That's why I said you have to know the language of money, but you have to be able to read people, because if you can read people, you can figure out the people that you should be around. If you don't know who to be around because you can't read people, then you'll always choose the company of the wrong people. And as the old saying goes, very interesting saying, you will be the average income of the 5 people you spend the most time around. Every time. I've seen that to be true. You start hanging around with people that make 10 million bucks a year, guess what? It's going to be a hell of a lot easier for you to figure out how to make 100,000. I'm not saying it guarantees you'll make 10 million. In fact, I try to hang out with people so out of my league that they pull me up. That's what you want. I call that financial osmosis. Financial osmosis is a very powerful tool. If you remember back in all those useless classes that we had in school where you couldn't figure out a practical application, one of them was the concept of osmosis. And how does osmosis work? It's in the cellular level where things get, it's almost like in layman's terms, you could think of it like a suction cup, like a tractor beam. And with money, what I try to do for myself, like I said, if I want to figure out how to make $10 million, I got to be around people that making $10 million would be very embarrassing for them. When Mark Cuban was over here, some of you saw some of the video. I didn't publish the whole thing, but he was here for a long time, you know. And we talk, we text. I'm keeping those texts around and I'm talking to him because it's continually resetting my barometer of what's normal. And what's normal for most of us is back on these rule number 1 and rule number 2 that I put. Fighting fires. That's what's normal for me. For me, single mom, my mom was always fighting fire, always paying rent, always worried about tomorrow and the next week. She was never strategizing. She was never using the rules and the language of money to pull our family up or to pull me and her up. She didn't know how. No one told her. But now you guys know. And for some of you, about 20% of you, whenever people watch these calls, about 20% of you are highly engaged. I always find 80% of planet Earth are what we call tire kickers. Tire kickers are, you could show them a Ferrari and all they want to do is kick the tires. Be like, this looks pretty cool. And they kick the tires, but they don't have the courage to open the door, sit down in the car, and turn that engine on. It's too scary for them. 600 horsepower freaks them out. And I wish it was 80% of you on this call. It'd be cool. You know, we're gonna have 50,000 people across all the places, my website, Periscope, Meerkat, Facebook today. And you would think out of 50,000 people would get excited and go in the accelerator. Imagine that. 50,000 people at a time. Just let's do the math for a second. Think of the ripple effect. They call this the butterfly effect. Let's say 50,000 a week we're going into the accelerator. That's 200,000 a month. In a year, how much is that? 2.5 million, okay? 2.5 million people, and let's say each person has a ripple effect potential of 100. Meaning if you live an amazing life, 100 people will pay attention to you. 100 people would pay attention to you and go, ooh, what's this dude doing? And how can I be like them? And so all of a sudden you're a role model for 100 people. That's not even a lot. So 2.5 million times 100, what is that? In a year, that means the ripple effect would go out. The language of money would increase for basically almost the population of the entire United States. Or if you're in the EU, entire Europe. Or if you're in South America, half of South America. Or Australia, Asia. 250 million people a year influence. That's only at a ripple effect, factor of a 1 to 100. It's more like 1 to 1,000. Trust me, if you all of a sudden went from where you are now to 10xing where you are, 1,000 people will pay attention. Now with the social media, with Facebook, Instagram, you can. Last year I looked at my YouTube, 450 million minutes were watched of my YouTube videos. So the ripple effect is much larger. It can be hundreds of millions of people. But let's just say it's just 100 or 200 people. That's crazy. You could change the whole world. You could be part of a revolution. But yet people won't do it. I don't know why. Some people go, oh, I can't afford it because I charge money for the accelerator for an important reason. I've learned when you give everything away for free, people don't value it and they don't do it. My advice to you, if you want a friend, if you have an extra ticket for like a concert and you want a friend to go with you, don't give it to them for free. Charge them a little bit of money. If the ticket's worth $1,000 or $500 or whatever, front row seats, make them pay $50. Because if you give it to them for free, they won't show up. I tested this before. I've tested it 1,000,000 times. When you give stuff for free, people take advantage of it and they don't take advantage of it. They forget about it. They don't value it. The other day, I'm looking at a new car. I'm looking at an Aventador. And there was an Aventador for $220,000. And one of my friends was like, ooh, that's awesome. 220 grand, because most Aventadors are like 400 to 500 grand, 450 to 550. And I was like, no, there's something wrong with it. Not good things aren't always free, man. I've learned. We live in a world where people are infatuated with getting everything for free. And I'm like, you know what? You get what you pay for. That's why I pay. If I can pay for mentors, I will pay. I mean, guys like Mark Cuban, I didn't pay them just because how am I going to pay? I didn't pay Larry David to go to lunch with me. You can't pay those guys. They have hundreds of millions of dollars. You're not going to be able to pay them. Or in the case of Mark Cuban, he got billions. But if I could pay Mark Cuban, some people are like, oh, you just paid Mark Cuban. I'm like, number one, I didn't. But if I could, I would. Because imagine if Mark Cuban would pop in once a week. Dude, my life would skyrocket. Imagine the connections he could make for me. Imagine the knowledge I could learn from him. Imagine the tricks of the trade. Even when he was here, he told me some tricks. He told me to turn the camera off. Some of the stuff we were talking about, I can't even tell you. He's like, turn the camera off. And he started telling me some stuff. He said, Tai, you're starting to get a little success. Let me tell you a few mistakes that I made. And he started telling me his story. Because Mark Cuban was born with nothing. I mean, he wasn't born in the projects, but he was just born to a regular family. And he's like, let me tell you a few mistakes. Because he's 58. He's way ahead of me. And I listened. I'm like, oh, shit. I was thinking, it's funny. I was thinking, how can I pay this guy to come here all the time? If I could pay him $1 million a year, it wouldn't be enough, but I would. If for 1 year, he would pop in once a week and lay out to me all the stuff that he made a mistake when he started getting a little success that set him back 10 or 20 years, I'd be like, yes, I would gladly pay $1 million. Right now, I spend about $1 million a year. I spend $50,000 to $100,000 a month right now on educating myself right now. And people go, well, why do you do that, Tai? You already got stuff. I'm like, no, but you won't keep it. It's one thing to have a Ferrari and Lamborghini and have a cool life. Doesn't mean you're going to keep it. I want to keep it. One of the lessons I learned, I used to be in the nightclub business. It was one of my first businesses. And there was a guy that helped me out. He was 20 years older, 30 years older than me, and he owned some restaurants. And I basically cut a deal with him that I could do the nightclubs, and I'd split the money with him because I didn't have enough money to afford a building or anything. And his name was Jay Meziat, Giorgio Bataxias. They're kind of famous restaurant guys on the East Coast, Giorgio's especially. And Jay was his silent business partner. And Jay one time looked at me and he said, hey man, let me tell you a rule of life. Because we were having some issues. The nightclubs that I was doing, they got really big and we started getting issues with the fire code. It's a good problem to have, but it's a problem nonetheless because the fire department will come and shut you down. And so I said, well, why don't we go back to a smaller place, Jay? And Jay said, look, I'll never forget. He was from Iran. And he looked me in the eyes and he said, let me teach you the first rule of life. Never go backwards. I'll never forget that. Still is a voice in my head. I have lots of voices in my head of wise people who have taught me through their experience and their words and their mentorship. And he said, yo, man, he didn't say it like that. I'm rephrasing. He literally just said, no, we never go backwards. You in business with me, we don't go backwards. Let's find a bigger place. And I had a place that used to be able to hold, Parazod it's still there. It's near Duke University in Durham. And Perizod held about 400 or 500 people. That's all it could hold. And I was going to go backwards. And he said, no, we're going up. And we went to this place called Spice Street, which was another restaurant that he owned. And that place could hold 1,000 people. And thank God that I listened to him, because he pushed me up. And that's what I mean. He was financial osmosis. If you had left it to me, I would have self-destructed. It's easy to self-destruct financially. It is easy. If you're not careful, you will self-destruct financially. And so will I. And so it's entropy is the opposite of osmosis in this case. Not technically, but I'm stretching the definition. Because what entropy is decay. And the only way that you fight decay is by the injection of energy and financial osmosis. That's how you make money, man. That's what I do all the time. And I'm afraid to stop. Sometimes my accountants are like, why don't you take a break? Why don't you take a break, Tai? I'm like, no, there's no breaks. I have fun. I have a cool life, man. I have a cool life. If you can see my life on Snapchat, I wouldn't really, one of the things that I know that I want to keep going in this direction is I meet all kinds of cool people, but I wouldn't want to trade lives for theirs. That's what each of you should aspire to. You meet cool people, you respect them, but you wouldn't want their life because your life is that cool. And when you pass, and I don't pass that test all the time, but when you start passing that test, you're going to thank me. You mark my words. You're going to write me an email and be like, Tai, that's the answer. I stopped meeting people that I wanted to be like because I looked at my life and I was like, my life's kind of cooler than their life. And I'm getting to a point, and I don't think my life's perfect, but I also know I'm starting to get to a place where I'm like, dude, I'm meeting this badass guy that I have all the respect in the world, but I wouldn't want to be them, but they might want to be me. That'll be even a higher level for you. Where not only do you not want to be them, but you'll see in their eyes, wait a sec, I think this person envies me. And when you start pulling that off, that's the trifecta. That is something that is rare, and you should savor it, and it comes and goes. No one stays at the top all the time, but enjoy it while you do. Now, I'm going to warn you, some of you are delusional and say, oh, I already feel that way. Well, are you hanging out with badass people? Because it was back when my standard was low. I'll tell you Oprah Winfrey's story. When she got her first job, she told her dad that she was making $3,000 a month was her paycheck. And her dad said, this is later, her dad just did one of those things like, that's it? That's the most anybody will ever make in our family. That's what he told her. He said, you did it, high five. That's the most, no one in our family will ever make more than $3,000 a month. The bar was low because she grew up in poverty and her dad grew up in poverty. So the standard for some of us is so low that the first time we get a little success, we'll be like, see, Tai, I already passed your test. Life's already the best it could ever be. But it's not really. But it's not. So one thing you got to do is expand your social circle. You can't pass the test until you've hung out with some badasses. Whoever is a badass for you, whenever you hang out with them, then you can see if you pass the test. Somebody said, Tai, Ron Nolan says, in my opinion, you should never want to be someone else. Well, that's an oversimplification. Why not? Why not aspire to have the courage of Nelson Mandela or Gandhi? I never like to oversimplify like that. Whenever someone says you never want to be someone else, well, why not? You see Arnold Schwarzenegger and you see the fruits of him working out and having muscles, you could be like, I wish I had muscles like that, and that'll drive you forward. And almost everybody great has a mentor like that. Even Albert Einstein, every Thursday growing up as a teenager, he had a math teacher that was his mentor, and Einstein hung out with him because he wanted to be like that math guy. And then, of course, we all know Albert Einstein eventually surpassed that math teacher and became the greatest scientist of his time. So I think it's okay. I don't think you want to have an unhealthy approach to it where you just go, oh, I hate myself. There's some things you're never going to change about yourself. There's some imperfections and flaws that we all have that you just got to learn to deal with. But you can set a high standard financially. Why not? You got one thing that people don't realize. Eleanor Roosevelt said, life's like a parachute jump. You only get one chance. There's no do-overs in a parachute jump. You jump out of an airplane. I was reading a story on one of the most famous prison escapes. In World War II, there was Americans were captured and English troops were captured, and they were being tortured by the Japanese in a Japanese POW camp. And America the Allied forces dropped in soldiers to rescue them, and they jumped from 400 feet. Now, if you ever jumped out of a plane, when you jump 400 feet and you pull your parachute right away, you only get 2 swings down. So a lot of people break their legs or whatever, or break their ankles. But it made me think right when I read that, I was like, that's like some of our lives. Some of the people on here, we're going to have 50,000 people on this call by the time I'm done here in a little bit. And not everybody's getting to jump out of 10,000 feet. Some of you don't, none of us, not some of you, all of us have no idea how much time we have left on this planet. You don't know. And people drop like flies right and left in many ways. People get in car crashes, they get cancer. Look at Steve Jobs. He had the whole world. And you know, Steve Jobs' big fear was, he said he didn't want to be the richest man in the graveyard, but he ended up the richest man in the graveyard. You don't want to be old and successful. I mean, it's great if you're watching this for the first time and you're 60 years old, but you don't want to be 90 and figure out how to get a Ferrari. If you like fast cars, you need to get a fast car when you're young enough to be able to enjoy it. And I meet a lot of people and I'm like, you know what plan you're on, sir? You're not on the financial osmosis plan, because here's your life. Here's when you're born, and this is when you're going to die, and nobody knows that year, but you put a number to it. And most people's success is like this. It's so low, and it peaks here. But this is the end of their life. So the peak comes 50 years later. I always say, if you look mathematically at the average person's income, they will be a millionaire and their savings rate at age 150. But what are you going to do with money at 150? First of all, science isn't isn't there yet to get to 150, or at least not for most of us. So this is age. Let's say this is 80 years old for you. You can't just be operating at low, and that's most people dip underneath. When they're in the prime of their life, 30 or whatever, they're underneath this success barrier. You know, here's the barrier most people don't read. What you want to do is use financial osmosis to suck you up, pull you up, so that you get over it, so that by the time you're 80, and you might have some dips in it, but you want even your dips should be above the threshold. So then when you die, when it comes your time to go over the great divide, you're killing it. And you got to be pulled up, because naturally this is the trajectory. And that's why the average person by 70 years old only roughly has $60,000 saved. $60,000 saved at 70 years old, that's not enough. You're going to be working at Walmart for the rest of your life, and that's what people do. It's sad. You see older people, or you're in an old folks home. You can't help your kids. You're done. You see people that are 20 that should be the next, Snapchat creators. That kid made $1 billion before he was 23. I'll tell you. Now, remember I was going back to a guy I might trade lives for? Have you ever seen his life? Now, that's a badass life. For those of you, if you've never seen it, Leonardo DiCaprio, he has a pretty badass life. He was successful young as a guy. For all of you guys, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Google Leonardo DiCaprio pool party, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I hope each of you will use financial osmosis, talks like these. These are free ones. Now, let me open up the accelerator, then I'm going to take questions, then I'm going to give out the 4 iPad minis, so stay tuned for that. If you don't know how to if you don't know anybody or know enough people that you can get in-person training, it took me a long time to, no, not yet. That it's going to take you a while to find those connections, to get the language of money taught to you by somebody. The internet is an amazingly powerful thing. One of the things, I've been an internet entrepreneur. Not when I was 19, I wasn't an internet entrepreneur. My first business was a farm business, raising cows with Joel Salatin in Swope, Virginia. But as I got a little older, I took advantage because I bought a course in the early 2000s. I bought a course from a guy named Corey Rudel. Best, in today's dollars, it was about $1,000 if you adjust it to today's dollars. I spent about $1,000 when I was first starting out in my 20s as an entrepreneur, in my early 20s. And that thing, you know what it taught me? Corey Rudel had this little ad. I clicked on it. I was working, doing cold calling in a closet. Somebody had given me an office. Mike Steinbeck gave me an office in a closet because he didn't have any room for me. And I worked for him for free, and he let me cold call, and I was just Googling. It was when Google first kind of came out. And there was this little link, and it was a picture of a dude who now I know his name is Corey Rudel, but back then it was just a stranger, and it said, how I made $38,000 laying on the beach today in Hawaii. And I remember seeing that and going, damn, I got to figure this out. I got to buy this. And he had a course. He had a long article. You read it. It was kind of like today's talk. It was a long talk. There wasn't video then. It was just a written thing. And I read every word of it. And I remember thinking, is this guy full of crap? Is this real? But I remember I had learned from my mentors, don't be fearful. So I bought the course. It was all the money. At that point, I had saved up a little money. I didn't have $47. I had about $500, and I spent it all. And I remember going, but how am I going to pay for rent? I had rented a room. But I remember thinking, well, maybe I buy this course, and I'll learn how to become a money-making machine. And I don't remember anything that Corey Rudel class taught. It was actually, they mailed it to you, a little workbook. And all I remember was it said, use Google AdWords. There's a new thing out. And so I was like, oh, Google AdWords. I thought everybody was using it. And I bought Google AdWords, and I was one of the first people in the world to use Google advertising. And a lot of you know me now, even today, 2016, I still use Google AdWords. I'm still one of the top people in the world. Literally. And that course that I spent $500 has made tens of millions of dollars in business revenue for me, maybe more. I don't know. I have to think through how much I've done. But it sure as hell was a good return on investment, ROI. Sometimes people are like, Tai, I'm broke. How do I not get broke? I'm like, well, you don't ever invest. Only investors make money, my friend. Only investors make money. If you don't believe me, look at the Forbes list. 77 of the wealthiest people in the world are investors. That's more than real estate. That's more than anything, more than tech, more than sports, more than energy, more than food, more than retail. Justin said he made the 30 grand collecting your money. Bullshit. That's not true, dude. Justin, you such a damn cynic. Cynic's going to be broke. I'm telling you this. Some people are like, dude, you're hard on people. I'm like, no. People got to be snapped out of their loser mentality. People go, oh, well, Tai, you just made this guy teaching you how to get rich richer. Well, first of all, I don't give a shit. If what he told me works, then I'm happy. What's up with people? You know what I learned about life? You guys got to avoid these people. There's some people think they're so smart by telling you shit that you already know, but is irrelevant. Sometimes people go, but Tai, don't buy that because that dude's just making money off teaching you how to make money. I'm like, who cares? Is it true or not? That's all I care about. If somebody tells me 2 + 2 is 4, I will pay them for that if I don't know it. So I'm like, bro, snap out of it. You're going to be broke. And I don't even care if you snap out of it. It's not in my best interest for you to snap out of it. I already know how to make money. You don't. If I create a world where more people know how to make money, that's more competition. But I'm not greedy. All that matters is it true? That's all you should care about. I don't care about shit. There could be a dude who freaking killed a kitten. Abraham Lincoln said he learned from everybody. I learn from everybody. I'm a learning machine. I am a learning machine, dude. It's irrelevant. Somebody ugly tells me something. I'm like, is it true? Okay, there we go. That's all I care about. If somebody is freaking annoying, if somebody stinks, if somebody is a pain in the ass, do they know something that I don't know? I am a learning machine. You can call me a lot of things. I'm not perfect. I got lots of rough edges, but I'm a damn learning machine. And there ain't a person in the world I'm afraid to go up against. If you want to have a learning machine competition, I'm like, bring it on. Now, there's some dudes I'd respect. Elon Musk is a learning machine. He's probably better than me, but there ain't a lot. And as long as you can say, look yourself in the mirror and go, I'm a learning machine, you can always be ahead. Always. I'm a learning machine. If there's anybody that knows something, like I'm getting in the fitness business, you know what I do? I track down Tony Horton. If you were on my Snapchat, Tony Horton was just here at my house last week. You know who Tony Horton is? All you fitness people, he made $990 million last year, or his company, with Beachbody. He knows shit. I meet all these people in fitness. They're like, I made 100 grand. I'm like, this joker made 990 million. Zip it. I'm going to learn from him, not you. I mean, I'll learn a little bit from you, but I'm going to take that time. And he came here and he trained me and we had breakfast and we talked. Dude, I learned a lot. He sold 8 million P90X DVDs. 8 million. That's a lot. And then he sold another $900 million in supplements. That's how I'm a learning machine. And you can be the same thing. Yeah, he's 58. That guy's more ripped than anybody. I know all the big fitness guys and women. I know them personally. This dude's 58. He can do on balance balls, 4 balance balls, 1 for each hand, 1 for each foot. He can do 77 push-ups. Try 77 balance ball push-ups in a row. See if you can do 1 on 4 simultaneous balance balls. It's crazy. And he's almost 60. And so that's what I mean by financial osmosis. Do you think it's more likely that I'm going to make money in the fitness business if I know Tony Horton versus if I don't? No. Not only is he in shape, not only is he a great, nice guy, but number 2, the dude's a money-making machine. And so you have to be like that. Now, I didn't pay him either, but I would. And he told me something interesting. I was talking to him. I said, do you train people for money? And he said, yeah, I'd charge 50 grand for 1 day or 2 days. He told me 2 days. I recorded a video. I'll post it soon. And he said a guy in Hawaii paid him 50 grand for 2 days. And I said, was it worth it? He said, well, I'm the highest paid trainer in the history of the world. I've been training people for 40 years, and I showed him everything I know. And I set up his whole gym, and I set up his whole diet, and he knows it's from a true professional. And for that guy, it was a good use of his 50 grand. And I was like, you know what my mind went? I was like, who the hell is that dude that spent 50 grand? Because I want to meet that guy. Because I thought I spend a lot. I spend 50 grand a month. This joker's spending 50 grand every 2 days. And I can tell you what, that guy in Hawaii spending 50 grand for 2 days, I guarantee you he's smart. Because how much money do you have to have when you'll spend $50,000 to bring a consultant in for 2 days? You have to have money. And it's the chicken and the egg. But people go, but Ty, I don't have 50 grand. So how do I get that? I'm like, well, you don't. Because how do you get the chicken before the egg? Yet, how do you get the egg when you don't have a chicken? It's tough. It's called breaking the cycle. I broke the cycle when I found mentors with Mike Steinbach, when I jump-started my financial career, when I said, you know what? I don't have any money, but what little money I have, I will spend it all on Corey Rudel program. And that changed my life. And you guys, look, YouTube's owned by Google. I'm still doing Google AdWords. I'm doing 1 billion impressions a year. There's nobody doing that much. And it's not because I'm smart. The only smart thing I did was find smart people and beg, borrow, and steal what they learned. Not literally steal, but, you know, Corey Root will let you steal his tricks. I hope each of you will be like that. Let everybody else who's cocky, let all the cynics who say, oh, well, this is just people making money by teaching other people how to get money. No, that's not how I made money. I started making money at 19 on a farm. I made money in nightclub. I made money in lots of things. I'm sharing this stuff because now it's fun. Because when I made the accelerator, I record all these videos, but guess who gets to hang out with Mark Cuban? Me. So I like to do it. It's fun. If you set up your life right, you make money and have fun. So it's not like some people think, oh, dude, I had Ferraris way before you ever heard my name. Way before. I got my first Ferrari in 2008. You can see it on my Facebook timeline, my personal Facebook. Go back. I made them all public so people can see. I didn't make, some people are like, oh, you rented a Ferrari and Lamborghini just so you could take these pictures. I'm like, no, I already had it. Go back and look. All you cynics. So if you guys want to get an accelerator, I'll explain real quick because I got to go soon. I realize what time it is. It's my home study course. I took everybody that I think is a badass, and whenever I meet them, I go, can I record a video? When Mark Cuban's here, we're playing basketball. I'm like, dude, will you record a private videos for my accelerator group? And people go, sometimes they say no. Like Larry David was like, he recorded a little bit. He's more private. Mark Cuban was like, okay. Gary Keller took me a year. People always ask me how to learn about real estate. I'm like, I'll go find the biggest guy in the world. Gary Keller owns the largest residential real estate company in the world, not even in the US. So I call him, say, can I record this and share? So that people like me who were born with no money, no education, nothing, who couldn't go to college, can learn from somebody like you that built a multi-billion-dollar real estate empire. And he's like, okay. Took me a year to get him to line up. And I just take that and I got 100 hours of video, even more now, on every subject about money. And you can study it from home. All you need is either a phone or a PC or laptop or Mac. Computer, phone, and if you like to commute to work, you can just listen to it on audio. So I got video or audio options on all of them. On every subject, how to invest in the stock market, the language of money, do real estate, how to get out of debt, whether you should go to college, how to figure out what you should do with your life if you don't know, if you're already an existing entrepreneur, you know, how to grow your business, how to do marketing, how to do social media. Everybody always asks me how to be good at YouTube. I brought in somebody better than me. I brought in someone better than me. I brought in Willie Rex. Willie Rex was here, and I was like, Willie, can I share? If you don't know who Willie Rex is, he's got 2 YouTube channels. One has 8 million subscribers, one has 6 million. That's 14 million subscribers. Do you know how few people in the world have 14 million subscribers? There's like 5 people. PewDiePie has like 40. And then after that, it falls off real quick. And Willie Rex is a monster. And I'm like, will you record? And he recorded a 45-minute video. Wouldn't it be to your advantage if all of a sudden you could get 50,000 to 100,000 people on your YouTube? What do you think would happen to your income if you could reach 100,000 people for free? Because YouTube's free. I mean, at least the subscriber side of things. Subscriber viewed stuff. There's all these free tools out there. I recorded my buddy Lewis Howes. Lewis Howes was broke, no money. Then he figured out he hacked, not literally hacked, but he reverse engineered a free website that every one of us can go on, and he made his first $1 million business, LinkedIn. He built LinkedIn, a tool for LinkedIn that grew his business. He could network. He began to do webinars. We have a thing. These are all things that I talk about in the accelerator. Some of you want real specific stuff. I got those specifics. I can't, on this live call, it's hard for me to do too much specifics because as you can see, there's all levels of people. We have people here who are making $1 million a month and people here who are making negative 10,000 a month, going in debt. So on these live calls, I have to go real broad in general. But on the specific, those of you who want real specific techniques to change your financial situation, accelerator has, you can pick and choose whatever you want. It's like a literal buffet where I recommend 3 days a week, you listen 15, 20 minutes a day. If you have more time, you can do an hour or two at a time. You can do less, you can do more. And there's just about every subject that I think is important. And the powerful thing, instead of being a book, it's now a living and breathing program. That's why I use video. It's so much more powerful. Just think about this. You want to learn how to live cast like this? Because I'm pretty much one of the leaders in the world, without a doubt. I went on Meerkat and I went to the top leaderboard. Periscope's a little different, but if you look at my stuff, very few people are getting this much engagement, and I'm going to show you how you can do it too. And you don't necessarily need 50 or 100,000 people watching. I got friends that just get small, 100, 200 people, highly engaged, and they're making crazy money. We've got stuff in there specifically on industries, trends that I see. So there's 3 levels to the accelerator, okay? The first level is the level that I'm opening up today. There's an application. It's the money level. For those of you a little more advanced, if your application is accepted, you'll talk to my team and you can ask them. There's an entrepreneur level and an advanced marketing level and persuasion. So the PACE system and the social skills stuff, I get into that here, but I have some real advanced stuff for those of you really advanced in terms of your sales and stuff like what you're doing. So there's all over the place, whatever you want, whatever level you'd like to be at and you think. But the price for today is for this money level. These others have other prices, but there's a few different levels of them. So you can talk to my team on the phone. Now, here's how it works. There's five main components. There's live access. This is, for many people, the most important thing. There's a curriculum. 2 times a month, I do a private live call. It's a small group. I don't let in 50,000 people. It's just for the people in the private accelerator. People have been accepted. So we go through 2 books a month, the most cutting edge ones on finance and business, not books you'll hear much about. I'm all about books that very few people have ever heard of. So you can watch, you can follow along. If you're not a fast reader, you can listen to an audio. We come twice a month, okay? And you'll get live access. So you can talk and ask questions, and it's a small enough group. It's very important that you get private access. Here's Ramon and his kid. Okay, the second thing you're gonna get is the mini talks. Now this is the core of the program. If you've seen, like I did a TEDx talk and they're 18 minutes or less. So I started doing a series of talks because I know, this talk is really long today, kind of as an introduction, but I know on an everyday basis, you're not gonna have a lot of time. You're not gonna have 3 hours at a time. But what you can do is you can listen to the mini talks. And they're like 18-minute talks on, or sometimes less, sometimes a little more, on all kinds of subjects. But if you want to know, and some of them are taught by me and some of them are other people, but it's cool. It's very powerful in these talks. The third thing you're going to get is behind the scenes. I always say, I wish I could have been behind the scenes and watched Mark Zuckerberg build the business. Can you imagine seeing him build Facebook? Or if I could see Steve Jobs build Apple, or Bill Gates, or Elon Musk build Tesla. So I just started flipping on the camera. I'm not as cool as those guys, but you can see how I build my businesses. You can see how I interact, work with the marketing teams, and work with all this. It's very important to just see it. A video is worth 1,000 words. And the fourth thing you're going to get, and I got a couple bonuses today. The fourth thing you're going to get is I was going to say, and the behind the scenes, this is just kind of like a series of videos. The next thing you're going to get, preferred access. So I realize that twice a month is good, but more important than that, if you only had a personal trainer helping you twice a month, it wouldn't be enough. So I started doing live calls where I answer. I did one last night while I was playing basketball for the people in the accelerator. So when you're in accelerator, you get preferred access. You can ask me specific questions during the week to help you wherever you're stuck. And that's really, some people, just buy the program for the preferred access. And then we've got the motivational minute stuff. These are, one thing I've learned from doing, I used to only have the accelerator, it was just these two. All these I've added later. And one thing I realized, it's not what you know, it's what you can motivate yourself to do. And so many of us have all the potential in the world, but we never pull off the motivation to do it. And it sucks. And that will give you the biggest what if pain for the rest of your life. So we have these 5 things. Now, I'm going to give you guys some bonuses. And the super bonus, the most important one is the vault. When I built the accelerator, it was just going to be all new videos. But a lot of people were asking me, Tai, you've been doing these talks for years and you never made them public. And people would ask me how they could get access to them. And I've got about 100 hours in a vault archive. And my plan was I was going to charge $10,000 and sell it to wealthy business owners. Because a lot of these guys, 10 grand's nothing. And these highly successful business owners, I've got these private vault of all these important talks I've done on all kinds of things, pricing and promotion, placement, all these advanced things. And when we first launched the accelerator, we didn't have that many videos in it. So my team was like, why don't you just throw in the vault for free? And I was like, well, I don't know if I want to do that because then I can't charge 10 grand, which is what it's really worth, like 100 grand. I charge, $10,000 an hour to do consulting. So if I give away 100 hours worth of stuff, I'm going to at least charge for 1 hour worth of it. So that's 10 grand. And they were like, no, don't, we decided we won't be greedy. Let's throw it in. And I've left it in there. Eventually I'll pull it out. But for today, and I'm going to open this up and I've been doing it the first 20 people who get in. And I'll show you a couple of reasons why. Now the next bonus is an annual pass to my events. And it was cool. We just had an event, 700 people, and about 400 of them were from the accelerator. And so it's hard. These events I've been doing have been selling out very fast. I'm going to do about 6 to 8 a year. And instead of you having to buy a ticket, worried about missing your spot, if you're in the accelerator and you get in, one of the bonuses today, you're going to have an annual pass. Because I learned that it's important to do all the online home study stuff in the accelerator, but you need to have some in-person training too. And to be able to go in person, and it's so cool, man, this event. Wait till you see the footage that comes out. There's 700 entrepreneurs. They're making friends. They're doing business, networking, and connecting to people. And it was crazy to see all the power that there's going to be people come out of that. Millionaires, and one day I hope billionaires, people that change the world. And you need that camaraderie in person. So that's why we have that. So this is worth 10 grand. And for those of you who get in here, you'll see I'm going to put the button up temporarily and then we'll take it down. So snooze, you lose. You're going to get that at, instead of 10 grand, 0. And the annual pass, same thing. I'm going to make it free. That's worth about $2,000 if you came to all the events. And then the next thing, so here's a big thing. Price. In 2016, I raised the price of the accelerator. Last year it was $997 one-time payment for the money level. If you want to be at the other levels, the entrepreneur and persuasion are more expensive, but the money level is just a one-time fee at $997. I told everybody for some of you who've been watching me for a while, I told you in 2016, I'm raising the price. So I raised it to $997 a month for 4 months. So it's basically $3,900. Now, I just raised that, okay, in the last week or two. But I told everybody, I warned everybody for 6 months. So just sometimes I say that I'm going to raise the price and people think it's like a pressure gimmick. It's not. I raised the price because now I have 100 hours of stuff. To get 100 hours of credit at college is going to cost you 40 grand. Why can't I charge 4,000 for it? That's not even a tenth. And it's way better stuff. It's the stuff I didn't even go to college. It's all the stuff that I use that I didn't go to college that made me a hell of a... Look, I speak at and get invited to speak at the top universities in America. I know what they're teaching. I spoke at the #2 business school in the world. I did their keynote talk. I just spoke at USC. People paying 260 grand. Now, I'm not saying, I just spoke, I won't say which college, one of the top ones in the US. And I spoke and all their professors came in and I started doing this thing of like, let me see if I can stump you. Let me see if I can ask questions. You guys don't know the language of money. This is the business school. Not one of those professors knew what the hell I was talking about. Zero. I felt so embarrassed for them because I didn't mean to embarrass them in front of their whole class. And I'm thinking, is this the level we're on? The business school at a top school? This is like a top 20 business school in America. People are spending, it's a private school, people are probably dropping at least 20 grand a year, 80 grand. So here's the thing. On this live call, because I know that not all of you can afford that, and I'm not doing it to be greedy, I'm doing it to be fair. It's not fair. It's not fair that this stuff that's worth 100 grand is still priced at $997. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to do a deal on the live call because you stuck in here and I'm not worried about numbers. I'm always quality over quantity. I'm going to do it that the first 30 people that go in today, you get it at the old price, one-time fee of $997. So we're going to have a special link. If you go to my website right now and you click the link, you're going to see the true price. Don't buy there or you're going to spend more money, okay? Now I'm telling you now to have your credit card ready because I've done this before where I do like a special 30 people get in. I had to raise the number to 30 because last time I did this, in the first 60 seconds, I had 15. I said first 15, I'll let you in the accelerator for just $997 one time. It took 60 seconds for it to get full. So in a second, I'm going to give you the special link. If you're on Periscope, Meerkat, or Facebook, I'll give you a special link you can type in, and it'll show it's just $997 one time. So the bonus, the main bonus, and I'm only going to give this to the first 30 people. And you can check back tomorrow. You'll see it's $997 a month after we reach, after today's call. So it's one-time payment. So if you get in, if you're one of these first people to get in, one time, $997. If you snooze, you lose. It's still a good deal at $3,900. It's still a good, my original idea with this accelerator, it was after I spoke I already said the name, but after I spoke at USC and I found out it was 260 grand for an undergrad if you can't afford, if you don't get financial aid, and these kids knew nothing. I was like, what? 260. So I was going to charge 40 grand a year. And I started out last year. And when I did that, it worked. People would pay that much. The problem is it only brings super rich people and rich kids of rich parents. So I want this accelerator to be accessible for everybody. $997 one-time fee for those of you, those 30, that's $3 a day, man. That's how much people spend on coffee. Literally. Now, some of you don't have the money. I'm going to tell you, we talked about earlier, it's a rare life that's bathed in opportunity. Most people miss opportunities. Some of you today will just miss it. I'm going to tell you the cold, hard facts. Some of you will miss out on opportunities. I have some friends, they always make the wrong choice, man. They always turn left when they should go right, and vice versa. Now, I've missed out on huge opportunities. And I missed out on buying Maxim magazine, just lots of stuff. I can think of even the last years, couple years. And the opportunities don't pop back in. Now, I'm not saying everybody here, I know if the world made sense, everybody would buy the accelerator. And here's why. Because it's $3 a day is what it comes out to, which is the same price as the average American spends on coffee and European. And most important thing, I have a 60-day refund. That means you could buy, and it's 100% money back. So you can go through, try the accelerator for 60 days. If you didn't like it, you get all your money back, and you still got to access all the material. My lawyer always was like, why do you do that? You know people cheat. And I'm like, yeah, well, we've been doing it since May, and our refund rate is 7%, which is so low. The average program like this has 25 to 30% refund rate. And so I said to him, now 7%, so out of every 100 people, 93 people they tell the truth. I always say money talks, bullshit walks. If people like the program, they stay in it and they don't refund. And out of those 7 people that refund per 100, most of them are people who had an emergency. Very few, not even 1 out of 100 says it wasn't worth it. Every once in a while we get people, that freak out. They're like, I had somebody recently call the office and was like, my mom's in the hospital now with cancer. We need every penny we can for healthcare and stuff. And I feel so bad getting a refund. And I was like, no problem. You can have the money. We refunded it. But the testimonials coming back from the accelerator. Look, I'm not even going to read these just because I always get bored reading these. They're insane. And this is none. My lawyer, I got a FTC lawyer that makes sure everything we do is compliant and stuff. And I told him I have the biggest stack of testimonials. And I showed him this, and he's like, there's like 100 in here. And he's like, oh, that's 100. That's pretty good. I'm like, oh, no, I don't have 100, dude. I just only wanted to print 100. There's so many testimonials that I had to assign 2 people in my company to sort through them. I just had a dude at my last conference came up to me and said, Tai, I want you to know this stuff changed my life. I was like, how did it change your life? And one of the things he told me, he said, man, I was selling CDs on the streets of Mexico City. And now I work for JP Morgan Investment Banking in Manhattan. And on the side, I got another real estate development business. This is a kid from the streets. And that's my kind of story. There's a kid in there who dropped out of college. He had $500. He moved to Malaysia, followed the stuff in the program, got a mentor. That was when he was 20. He's now 21. He says he's making $500,000 a year as an affiliate marketer. Has 50,000 people on his email list. And I get people, it's not all about money. I get people that get out of debt, people who improve the quality of their life. Now if I go out, I get hundreds of people in a day. If I go to the Grove or something, some people in the 67 steps, some people in the accelerator, it's overwhelmingly awesome. And I can't take credit for it. It's that knowledge works when you apply it to your life. I don't know how to make it any simpler. People want to know the secret. One of my mentors, Al Howell, when I first went to work in finance, that was one of the businesses I was in. And he said, Tai, he was older than me, 20, 30 years older than me, had gray hair. I was just starting out, my early 20s. And he said, Tai, I've been working with millionaires for 30 years. I said, what'd you learn? He said, well, millionaires just do the stuff that everybody else knows they should do, but don't do. I never forgot that. Okay. You either going to be somebody who does the stuff that you know you should do, or you don't. And that's where you have the separation begin. It's all in the mind, but it has to be actualized. So here's the links. Here's how you can get in the program. Now, be ready. Like I said, I'm going to go through this. You can also phone call in. I'll give you 5 ways that you can get in. Number 1, if you're on my website, there's a button. That's the easiest. It should be right above or below this video right now. You click it. It's going to take you to the application page. It's a 256-bit SSL encrypted page. You click there, and fill out your info, put in your card. It's the most secure. It's more secure than giving a waitress your credit card. The next page will be the phone. You set up the phone appointment with my onboarding team. They'll review your application, and we try to let everybody in. Once in a while, if you're not a good fit, we'll refund you your money. Or if you change your mind when you get on the phone, you can get a refund even before you start. Some people have buyer's remorse right away. Wherever you are, we meet you right there. So there's a button. Number 2, you can call in. So if you're on Facebook or Meerkat, you can just call 1-800-604-2587. Now, I put in 15 phone lines, and I've been stubborn on this. I probably should have 30 or 40 phone lines, especially it's Sunday. I don't have a full team in. I got 70 employees, but on Sundays, we have a smaller group. And so if it's busy, just leave a voicemail, and I will count that as being one of the 30, okay? So there's a button. Now, if you're on Facebook, you can also, what I recommend if you're watching this live, close down the app and just type in manually on Chrome, Safari, whatever you're using, tailopez.com/Facebook. This is the special link. Or if you're on Periscope, you can do /Periscope. Or if you're on Meerkat. So just tailopez.com/Facebook if you're on Facebook. That way it would track you to give you that. Okay, the next thing. 4th, you can just go to tailopez.com and click the help button. We have live chat. You can just chat. That's a powerful way, an easy way for you. The 5th way is you can email Maya at tailopez.com. So email. 5 ways. All right, we're going to start the timer for 20 minutes and the first 30 people. Are there questions about this? The phone number, 1-800-604-2587. There's the button, tailopez.com/Facebook, Periscope, or Meerkat. You can go to Tai Lopez, click the help button for live help, or Maya at tailopez.com. Now, some of you will have your credit card declined if you're out of the U.S. or something. Just follow right up, email, and I'll hold your spot for an hour, okay? If not, we give it to someone else. It's $9.97, one-time payment, okay? So there's 20 minutes and the first 30 people. Somebody says, conference was awesome. Can you push that on the side there so I can see the comments too? So I can see both. Maybe move that to the left. That window to the left. There you go. Okay, done, got it. Savik, Vodka. Congratulations, Savik. Should you ever use an internet website to invest? I mean, yeah, you can sometimes invest. I mean, most brokerage accounts, you're doing it that way. Is this going to be $9.97 for 4 months? No. Right now, it's a one-time payment for the first 30 people who get in. Trying to make this real clear. The normal price on the website, you will see, if you come back tomorrow, it's $9.97 a month for 4 months. It's $3,900. Right now, on the live call, the first 30 people, you're not going to have to pay $4,000. You only are going to pay one payment. I'm giving you $3,000 off. How about that? I'll make it simpler. If you want to save $3,000 compared to tomorrow, okay, you can still get an accelerator tomorrow, but you'll have to pay $4,000. Right now, it's a one-time payment of $997. Okay? What if you're still doing the 67 steps, Ty? You can do both. Lots of people are in both. The 67 steps are about life in general. This program is specifically on your finances. Ty, should I stay up for knowledge or go to sleep for school? Well, we'll be done here soon. You can do both. Info on affiliate marketing and accelerator. Yeah, I'm getting ready to add some cool stuff on affiliate marketing. Remember, it's a living, breathing program. So if there's stuff in there that you want, or if there's not stuff in there and you want us to add it, I'll always add it. Any interesting subjects. Remember, my biggest benefit of having the accelerator is this excuse for me to go out and interview the coolest people on any. Oh, I just interviewed John Lee Dumas on how to do a podcast. He went from 2012, he was making $0. He launched a podcast and he publishes his financial numbers. And he did 4.3 million, or wait, 3.4, I don't know, 3 or 4 million he made, and he nets at least 60%. So how'd you guys like to know how to go use a podcast, which is a free tool? And somebody said, oh, somebody in the accelerator said, Juno said that was a good ass video. Cool, yeah. Somebody said, excellent program, Mary Lucy says. Ben said, my card was declined. It's all right, I'll give you 1 hour. You can call in, email. We can give you a PayPal link if you call in and your card is declined. What else do we got here? Someone said, how do you grow a company from 1 to 10 employees? Very awesome question. That is what some of you want to become entrepreneurs, are already entrepreneurs. You got to learn how to raise your game up. Are you updating that?
Yeah, there's just a lot right now.
Okay. All right, let's see here. Tyler gonna watch the Royal Rumble today. Is that wrestling? Not big on wrestling. I like jiu-jitsu though. The pay system is in the money level. Yes, there's some of it in there and some of it in the advanced. So for those of you who get in today in the accelerator, everything we talked about is in there for the one payment of $997. If you want some of the more advanced entrepreneur stuff and some of the more advanced marketing stuff, we have that in the higher level programs. Those are a different price. But I don't talk about that too much on this live call because it's too confusing. But when you're gonna, right after you do your application, just apply to get in the money program. You get a ton of stuff in there. On the live calls, the twice a month access, we do the calls there. And you guys are gonna be able to go out and talk to me on that and talk to other people. And also some of you will upgrade to the higher level ones. All right. Does everyone eventually go to step 2 and 3 in the accelerator? A lot of people do. A lot of people start in the money program. They get so much value, they just keep going up. I thought of putting there just being one level, but I found it becomes too confusing if I just dump on people 150 hours or 200 hours of stuff people get. One of the goals of this program is not just for it to be awesome information, but for it to change your life. So, Ty, will the quality decrease? No, because we only have 3,000 people in it. Or not everybody can show up. No. I mean, 67 Steps has a lot more. That's going to, this year, probably reach 100,000 people in it. But, and so that would be too much for the money program. That's why we put an application on it. And remember, some people are graduated already. So just because 3,000 people went through the program since May, some of them are done. So they're not in it anymore. So it's not like there's 3,000 people always on. Anna says, card decline. That's okay. If your card gets declined, you just have 1 hour. It's real easy. Just make a phone call or go to Tai Lopez and do the help. My team is there. They'll walk you through. They can call you back. You can use PayPal or another card or something like that. Will I ever come to Alabama? I haven't been to Alabama. I've been to Alabama before. Been a while. Ty, I sell money off games, and the amount of money I can make in a day for a 15-year-old is crazy. Connor Whitefield. Awesome, Connor. Dude, there's so much money being made in the world. I don't know how to explain it to people. I'm like, do I tell people how much money people who walk in my house are making? Like, I got friends all the time. One of my buddies is making $4 million a month, man. He's making at least $2 million net a month. I got some other buddies here in LA. He's doing, two business partners, they make $8 million a month net. They put it in their savings account. And then the whole world, like I grew up, we were all broke. And I'm thinking, what the hell is going? It literally sometimes fries my mind. I don't like to think about it too much because I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should feel bad and I don't know if I should feel bad and tell my friends who are making $8 million a month that they're doing something wrong. But then I feel stupid for that because I'm like, why lower the bar? Why not bring more people up into the bar? And I'm not saying, look, this program, I never guarantee anybody how much money they're going to make. I don't think everybody needs to make $1 million a year. It's to make $1 million a year brings headaches too. It's not all good. Although most people who make $1 million a year don't want to go backwards. But my point being, for me, I think that the main goal should be financial health, a level of well-being to your finances where you're not freaked out every month. And also where you have momentum. You got to have momentum because you can't get out of bed, I've learned, when you feel like you're going backwards. Going backwards is the worst feeling in the world. So for me, as long as I'm going forward, that's what I care about. I want to just go forward. And sometimes it'll be financially, sometimes it'll be happiness-wise, sometimes it'll be in my body. You got to have a mind-body connection with yourself. They have to connect. You can't just make a ton of money or be in super good shape. It's funny. I never meet people that do both of them. That's a whole nother level. Tai, the 3 accelerators, money, entrepreneur, persuasion, are they all $9.97? No, it's for the first level. Everybody starts at the first level. It's kind of like college. Everybody has to do the undergrad program. Then you get to go. Some of you are already more advanced. You can talk to my team about the price and what you get for the other stuff. Tai, came to your conference in New York and it's changed my life. Chris Moore says, got accepted into the Business Builder and spoke with Dan with the beard. Cool. Problem, I can't, can you press see more? Oh, shoot. Damn these Facebook ones. They have a little see more thing. I couldn't read the whole thing. Tai, Manny, and Noah, I really benefit from all this. I'm a photographer and I need to make more money. Somebody said, I need some tips to start YouTube. What do you suggest? Kieran Gale said, great lesson in the accelerator, guys. Learn from Willie Rex. I'm good at certain part of YouTube, and he's good at building a lot of subscribers. Jethro Alquiz says, saw your cool jiu-jitsu video with Higan Machado. You know what's funny? I went to see that movie 13 Hours last night. We went, and Higan was sitting behind us. What? It was so weird. Yeah. Desmond said, is this real? Say, Happy Australia Day. Desmond, why are you such a cynic? It's Facebook Live. Of course it's live. Why are people so afraid? I told you, Desmond, you afraid of all the wrong things, my friend. What if it was a fake live thing? Why would you care? Only care, the only thing you should care about is it true? But it is live too, but why are you worried about that? Tai, met David at the conference. Great dude. Thanks for interviewing me. Cool. Tai, can I meet you one day? Yeah, come to one of my conferences. Anna said, I ain't afraid, but my card's declined. Don't worry. We'll help you walk through it if your card got declined. Tai, 67 steps is improving my outlook. Oh, damn it. Went to. My phone died 3 times, Tai. Tai, have you met Robert Kiyosaki? I have not. Tai, come to NYC. Dude, I was in NYC last week doing a conference. You missed it. Can you still, okay. Accelerate your way to the iPad giveaway. Oh man, you got to be more persuasive than that. Come on now. You can't just use a little play on words, think that mind trick's going to work on me. Come on now. Step up the persuasion game. Tai, can you do a conference in Scotland? Yeah, I want to do one in the UK. Tai, I went to your conference. I realized I really like online marketing and ads. Oh man, damn, why are they're really pouring in right now. Come to Montreal. What do you recommend for Forex trading? I'm going to start putting some stuff in there on Forex. A lot of people asking me about Forex. What books do you recommend to learn how to read people? Now, a PACE system is something I invented. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of good books on it. That's why I had to invent it for myself. So I wish I could. I'm always of the mind, if I could buy a book, I'll pay. The problem is, what if there's nobody teaching this stuff? And so I started basically just training myself. It kind of sucks, but I invite Warren Buffett. I went to a little thing with Warren Buffett 2 weeks ago. I was in a living room at a neighbor's house with Warren Buffett. I wanted to interview him, but couldn't quite get to him. I was sad. Ty, I'm 17, trying to be a music producer. When are you coming to Chicago? Ty, I love your t-shirts. When do we see more? You know what's funny? There's so much opportunity in the world. This t-shirt business could be easily a multi-million-dollar business, but I don't even have enough time to get to it. And I have 70 full-time employees. So many opportunities in the world, guys. I hope you guys will take some of them. I can't do them all. Each of you, you build your game, mental game. You invest in yourself. You learn shit. You know the language of money. You learn how to read people. Those two angles. You become a learning machine. You do the mind-body connection. So your body's getting ripped and so's your brain. That's important, by the way. Everybody wants a six-pack in their abs. You go to Instagram, it's full of models and people like showing off their abs. I'm like, yeah, but you got no mental game, man. You're always going to lose. Just remember, you can hire big muscle people. You can't hire brains. You got to be the brains. I mean, it's good to have a six-pack. Don't get me wrong. But I'm never so stupid as to spend, most people spend 99% of their life getting their, especially people in fitness, just getting all ripped. I'm like, dude, you're going to get old. Warren Buffett's 85, still enjoying life because he has a brain six-pack. That guy's a machine. He's reading 800 pages a day. All right, we got how many minutes left? 12 minutes left. I'm going to shut this down. You're going to miss out on the bonuses. Click the button or call 1-800-604-2587. If you're on Facebook, TaiLopez.com/Facebook or Periscope or Meerkat, go to the help button or Maya@TaiLopez.com. I want to do this giveaway soon. We got 12 minutes. Somebody said, Ty, I want you to talk more. Ty is a good to venture into more than one thing. Well, one thing at a time. The man who chases two rabbits, Confucius says, catches none. Ty, what do you think about Brendan Carter? Yeah, he just spoke. He spoke at my conference in New York. It's a cool guy. We're friends. The most hearts win the iPad. Ty, can you give me constructive criticism on my YouTube channel? Maybe next time. I'll look at it. You can post it. But if you're in the accelerator, that's the kind of stuff you can ask in the twice-a-month calls. Let's see. Ty, in the accelerator, why do I have to start off with the money instead of persuasion? Well, like I said, you can get into both, but you always have to know the language of money. It is the most important to making money. I can't, look, I have a friend, I always tell this story. He sold a company for $18 million when he was 28, but then he lost all the money because he didn't speak the language of money. So it's kind of like pro athletes. You know what the NFL stands for? The football, American football, NFL, stands for not for long. Meaning most people who get in it don't play it for long because they get hurt. And then once they retire, you know how long they're rich for? Not for very long. The average pro athlete's rich for 2 years. That's it. Because they don't know the language of money. In fact, I was at a conference and this guy's been reaching out to me. He's a big agent for pro athletes. And he wants me to start teaching and helping him teach these pro athletes. And I'm like, why? He's like, dude, these dudes are going to blow through their money. They didn't grow up with the language of money. He said one of his guys spent $250,000 in one night in Las Vegas. And this dude makes money, but 250 grand. Think of it this way. As a pro athlete, for every $1 million you make, you're going to give at least 10 to 20% to your agent and manager. Okay? So you start with $1,800,000. Then you got to pay taxes on 800 grand. In California, for every 800 grand, counting state tax, or if you live in New York City, you're going to almost give half of that away. So that means 400 grand's all that's left. If you spend 250,000 on one night in a club in Vegas, you start with $1 million, you have 150 left after one night. It's crazy. And you watch these people that won this lottery, that won this Powerball thing, one of them, hopefully not all, I bet you one of them is going to be broke. Mark my words. One of them is going to lose all of it. They're going to invest in some crazy harebrained thing. Mike Tyson made, no one knows the exact number, but Mike Tyson made between $400 and $800 million as a boxer. He was down. He said he couldn't afford a hotel room. I read his autobiography. How'd you like to do that? Between $400 to $800 million and you're down to zero? That's why I put the language of money first. Nobody comes through this accelerator. If you guys win the lottery or if you come into big money, you're going to have the most powerful tool in the world, which is the ability to make that money work for you instead of against you. That's what Magic Johnson did. He became a billionaire. That's what Shaq did. Somebody says, does Dan Bilzerian have a mental six-pack? Dan's a smart guy. He wouldn't have won $12 million or $8 million or whatever playing poker in one game if he was dumb. Importance of getting a trademark, somewhat important. Usually not as important as people think, but you do want to get around to it. I mean, you'll usually get somewhat of a trademark protection just by being in commerce. Damn, Ty, where were you when I was younger? Ty, can a 16-year-old take the accelerator? Sure. Ty, what are your thoughts on Gary Vaynerchuk? I had dinner with Gary Vaynerchuk last year in August. Very energetic dude. Knows lots of stuff. Ty, what's a book you recommend for learning the language of money? There's no one book, unfortunately. Here's the thing about the language of money, why I made the accelerator a video course. The world's changing very fast now. 1 year ago, there wasn't even Periscope, Meerkat, or Facebook Live. This whole tool, or YouTube Live. Everything I'm doing right now, interacting with you, is under a year old, meaning you couldn't even write a book on it. By the time you wrote a book, it'll be outdated. And Snapchat is new, cutting edge technology. There's no good books on Snapchat because it's too new. And the best things in life are so new, not many people have adopted them yet. And it gives you a huge advantage when you adopt them. And I think it's important that you think about being on the cutting edge too. So for certain things, I don't care about books. Ty, just purchased a domain for my website. Okay, we have 6 minutes left. What would you recommend next? Should I register a corporation? The most important thing with a business, make sure you can get a customer. That's what you want to focus on. Get customers. Even before trademarks, even before domain names. Domain names and trademarks are important, but customers are the lifeblood of a business. And you got to know that you can acquire paying customers. You can start out free customers, but you must have that ability to acquire customers. All right. What else? Where are we at? All right. Sorry. Give me a second. All right, we got 5 minutes left. How do I feel about network marketing? Very common question. Network marketing usually won't make you a ton of money, but it is a great little start sometimes. So if you're completely stuck, sometimes you can use network marketing to get a little bit of training and just get, I think a little different than most people. Most people are like, will this one thing that I'm doing now, my first or second business, make me the money that I'm going to need for the rest of my life? And the answer usually is no. So what you try to do is your first business, my first business made me exactly $12,000 profit from 1 year of work, but it did something else that's more important. It reprogrammed my mind that whatever I did, I would succeed at because it was a little baby business. So sometimes you need a little infant business, a baby business that gets you started. And when you get that going, then you get a lot of momentum. Ty, have you ever been invited to the celebrity basketball charity? Well, there's lots of one. I'm actually, Chris Paul from the Clippers is coming over this month to play me some one-on-one. I'll film it. Thoughts on Primerica? I'm not super familiar with Primerica, but yeah. Ty, you should listen to Logic the rapper. Haven't heard him. I want to start a YouTube channel. How should I start one? Well, YouTube's easy to start. It's harder to get subscribers. You should literally record a video and put something up. It can be a candid video, selfie video. Those are the best. Favorite sport to watch? Basketball. Best way to raise capital without giving away too much of the business? Easy. Kickstarter. My friend just raised 150 grand, didn't have to give away any equity. Kickstarter, you just pre-sell stuff. Ollie Miller, how many hours of sleep do you get? I always 8, I try to get. That's like my goal. Thoughts on Amazon business? Amazon business is big business. I'm actually getting into that business myself. Do I listen to Kanye West? I'm not a huge Kanye fan. I mean, I respect him, but not my favorite style of music. I mean, his style of rap. Most effective traffic source. Now you got to be diversified in traffic sources. Literally, you want to do everything. You want to do paid ads. You want to do Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You want to do SEO. You want to do affiliate stuff. You want to do email marketing. If you know how to do it legally, you can do SMS marketing. What's your favorite Ferrari? I like the 458, the convertible, the Spider, what I have. It's like classic, timeless, and I like convertible. No one's answering the phone, just leave a voicemail. Sometimes we get bombarded. I don't want to turn my whole office into a phone call center. How do you get subscribers on YouTube? Now that is a more interesting question that would take another hour talk, so I'm not going to do it. But you can do collabs help. At the end of the day, you have to test what your audience wants and make a lot of videos like that. Do I take nootropics, brain supplements? No, but I take supplements in general that improve overall health. What do you use to process payments online for your content? We have our own merchant mids. How early in business should you get an 800 number? Yeah, I like to get 800 number early because you can, number one, you can track where the numbers are coming from, and they're not that expensive anymore. I use grasshopper.com, I think it is. That's a pretty good company. I don't promote them or get paid to endorse, but it's pretty cool. All right, I think we're going to wrap up here, and I'm going to give away this. Here we go. Now, any last things on Accelerator? I want to do the giveaway. Let's go, because I got some people outside waiting for me. I'm going to go play a little basketball. Maybe on my way out, I'll walk. People always want me to walk by the Ferrari and Lamborghini. I'll pop in the garage. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I know what I'll do. Can you guys come here? I'll tell you the answer here. Bring a piece of paper. Now, I'm going to give away a hint on Snapchat. So follow me now on Snapchat. And then you can look at my story. It's Tai Lopez 1, the number 1. So you click on my story. In a second, I'm going to post a little hint. Okay, here's what it's going to be. It's going to be this one's hard.
I'll do the website, yeah.
So it's going to be They have to do 2, 4, 5 words.
Type this out on the thing.
Yeah, type that. Okay. So I got to think of a way to do the clue. Let me log into my Snapchat. Here we go. Going to give you guys a hint here. So take a second now while you have downtime to add me on Snapchat, because you can't, if I post the hint on my story after and you add me after, you won't be able to get in. That's not how Snapchat works. You got to have followed me right now. So just close this down for a second and go to Snapchat. I'll be posting it in a second. If I can get my phone to work. All my phones are crazy these days. God damn it. I literally have like exploded all my phones. I just got a new one too. What's the one I got? The 6S Plus. We're almost done. Hello. Cabeza. What did you guys go play basketball? Here, come in here for a second. You want to be on? Oh, Facebook just crashed. Damn it. Now we got to go back to Man, Facebook is a pain in the ass. It's the 4th one. So,
Say hi. Or is it this one? What's this one? This
all right, we're going back. We got to go back on Facebook again. All right, Facebookers, I'm giving away the iPad mini. Facebook crashed again. We crashed this bad boy a lot. You guys ready? You got your glass. Yeah, you gotta look. You gotta stand back here. No one can see you. Come back here. What are you doing? No, look here. Let me point it down. All right, we'll get ready to do the giveaway. We got Herman's kids here. Wait, can you see yourself? Mateo, you got to come back here. Lucas. What kind of handshake is that? Okay, I'm gonna Snapchat right now the way that you can win. If you've been watching my live call for the last few hours, I've got this. I'm gonna give away an iPad mini on Facebook, Snapchat, Periscope, or my website, YouTube. So I need to write a hint here. Oof, this is a tough one. Here, pull up your phone for a second. I know what I'll do. Let me just Google something.
Okay. Google.
Wait, let me have a regular phone that I know how to use. I'm going to use Nathan's. What kind of phone do you have, Shun? The most annoying damn phone I've ever used. I hate those Androids. Whenever you touch them, they close. You ever seen those? It's like someone gives you the phone. Will you take a picture? Okay. Boom, it closes to the home page. I'm like, whose retarded idea was that? Build the user interface. Build a good user interface. All right, here's this trick. I'm posting it right now on my... If you don't have this, you're not going to win. I'll basically tell you that. So there we go. It's posted to my story. I'm going to give you guys a minute to go to my Tai Lopez 1. Tell them to go to Tai Lopez 1.
Does he go to Tai Lopez 1?
Go to Tai Lopez 1.
You need to say it too. How come you have blue glasses? I need to get blue.
He's copying me.
You have blue glasses? All right, has everyone had time to go to Snapchat? Man, now there's 1,000 viewers on Facebook. A lot more people come on right away if I'm giving away. So you're only going to win the iPad mini if you've been watching. All right, we're going to video. Here we go. Okay, here's how you win. You got to give me 3 pieces of information. The 3 pieces of information are, number 1. Now, for those of you trying to post the answers, it's 3 questions. So are you ready? See, your phone went away. I told
This
you.
one died.
Oh. Damn Android.
No, it's not.
So here's the question. Number 1. Who was the mentor who told me to never go backwards? I'll write this all as one comment. Second part, what was the name of the small restaurant I had? And the third is the restaurant he told me to go to after so that I wouldn't go backwards and I could hold more people.
Can I win the iPad? if I
No,
answer?
Herman was there. So what was the guy's name?
I'm green. That
Number 1. Number 2. Oh, good. I've never been able to stump everybody. I've been trying to stump everybody. If nobody gets it, I'm going to give it. Oh, someone almost got it.
Wait, what did they say?
Darth Vader.
Somebody said Darth Vader. Yeah, you won. Not really. Huh?
Dang.
No. It's on the board.
It's on the board.
Yeah, it was.
That wasn't the first one.
I didn't say the first one. It's the one I was said in the story.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I love it.
No
There's
one's
nothing on the Facebook.
Nobody has it?
No.
Should I be-
Yes.
Should I be looking at this or up there?
No, you got to look there to see who won it.
Okay.
Why come on?
No one even knows. No one was paying attention today, finally.
Nothing.
Usually people get it in 10 seconds. I said what his name was. It wasn't Joel Salatin. He was a farmer, not in the nightclub business.
Buffet?
Is this from your Amish stuff?
No,
Nope.
they're just adding that. There,
Got one.
there,
Got one.
there, we got one. Oh, there's hope. There's hope. So I knew I said it.
Got one.
You found one?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, yes. I'll let you guys misspell it. If you misspell, it's not Allen Nation. Did anyone do it on Facebook yet?
Nothing on Facebook.
Are you on Facebook? Are you the Facebook person?
Who's missing? Which platform is losing so far?
Facebook is losing.
Facebook.
Come on, Facebook.
Josh, are you looking too?
I'm giving away a free iPad. Come on, Noogie. Noogie. Someone get it on my website? Nobody on the website. There's still option to win.
Nothing on Facebook. I feel like everybody just hopped on.
I know. I think somebody put almonds. That's not the answer. Facebook. James Earl Jones, somebody put. No.
It's on Periscope.
What's that?
That's nobody on Facebook.
No.
What'd they say?
Monger, parasite.
Monger, Charlie Munger? Yes, I finally stumped everybody.
He wishes he was his mentor.
Come on now. I can't believe we finally, there's closer. Somebody said Magic Johnson. Some of you gonna win. Some of you gonna owe me an iPad for bad answers.
Now, if nobody gets it, you just don't give it away, right?
I guess not. Yeah.
If that ever happened, where you're like, well, nobody gets it.
No, never. Never.
We're giving away 4. Oh, you got it. Are you in the chat?
You gave it.
Gave a hint. I gave it. Somebody said Kanye West. You think Kanye West was my first mentor? Seth Glosson. These are some people are literally just inventing names. I love it. All right, somebody got it on every other place. All right, I think we're gonna stop. This is the first time in history I haven't given it. So Facebook, I think I'm gonna give it to charity or something. Let me try. Okay, Facebookers, I'm going to give you another one just because I feel bad. And if I don't give it out, people will have a heart attack and say that I do false contests. I know it.
Well, give him the answer so we know what it was.
The answer was Jay Meziot, Parazot, and Spice Street. Facebookers, I'm going to give you one more chance. Go back to the questions there. Go back on Facebook. I'm going to give you guys one more chance. Can you put the questions up, Maddie?
It's right here.
No, the questions that I can ask people.
This bottom looks pretty good right here. Make some space.
Haha. We'll just do something simpler on Facebook. I said Tony Horton here from P90X was at my house. Who's filming here? Here's my question for you.
We got a website on yours.
You got a website winner?
Yeah.
Okay. Film here. Ready? You filming?
Yep. But for Facebookers.
For Facebookers only. How many push-ups can Tony Horton from P90X do on 4 balance balls? And if you guys don't get this one, you're not getting it. Facebook only. Facebook only.
Got it. Got it.
It's got a lack. What? On Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay, we got a Facebook winner.
Yep.
And then here's the one for the other one.
Okay, so we got a winner. The answer is 77. He can do 77 on 4 balance balls. All right, we got 4 winners. Here's what I need you winners to do. I'm going to announce the names right now. If your name is announced, you need to put your comment with your email address, your phone number. Sorry, not your phone number. Your email address, your age, and what you do for a living. Are you eating my cheese?
Their celery. You're eating your celery, your peppers.
$5. No, $5. You have to pay me. Do you have money? Why don't you have any money?
Yeah, I do in my piggy bank.
You gotta give me your piggy bank.
Your minion.
Why?
Because I want to.
Yeah, but then you can't have my cheese. The answer is 77. All right, let me announce winners. Can you guys bring me the winners?
Yeah.
And then come film it. So I'm gonna film this. I need you guys, if your name is announced, I need you to give a phone number, an email address, a location, and what you do, just so we know a little bit about you. You guys, don't we need 3 people? Okay. The first winner for what? Periscope. The winner is Tanya. TBEIT 173 is your username. At TBEIT 173. There's her picture. Blonde hair. Tanya TBEIT 173. You are the winner of this. So that's kind of cool for you. Can you see, what does TBEIT do? Is anybody filming? Okay, who's the winner on Meerkat? TBIT, I need Tanya, I need your email address, age, and what you do,
Dylan Jeffrey.
and where you live.
That's Dylan Jeffrey, 19.
Okay, you gonna film there?
Yeah.
Meerkat, the winner is Dylan Jeffrey 19. Jeffrey 19. Dylan, what do you do? What is your email address? How old are you? Somebody here. Cool. Someone says Tom 14 making $6,000 a month selling on Amazon. Congratulations. Don't go crazy with all that money. Tanya. Email address. What was the other dude?
Dylan Jeffrey. 19.
Dylan Jeffrey on Meerkat.
Yeah, bro.
And now we need Facebook. Who won on Facebook?
Right here.
Vinny?
Vinny Guido.
Okay, on Facebook, but I need someone to film this. On Facebook, it's Vinny Guido.
We got it back here.
Got it.
Vinny Guido.
Songwriter.
All right, Jeffrey's 25-year-old songwriter. Where do you live, Jeffrey? Vinny Guido, where do you live? Vinny Guido sounds like you live in New Jersey. Is that your real name, Vinny Guido? I shouldn't laugh at it in case it is your real name, but that doesn't sound like a real name. $5.
Where you from, Dylan?
Where you from, Dylan? Okay, let me announce on the website here.
Yeah. I'll reach out
On
to
my
you.
website, who was the winner?
It's right here. It's highlighted.
Somebody says, Ty, look at the comments. I beat Vinny to the answer. We have a screenshot, though. Vinny is from New Jersey, and that's your real name. What do? We need your email, Vinny. And what do?
I'll reach out to Tanya.
Okay, on my website, Facebook, who's the winner? Did we do them all?
No, the website's right here.
My website, the winner is the number 514-338. 514-338. You put Mezioc, Parazot, and Spice Street. You spelled it a little wrong, but I'll give you that. Mo Darwich says Vin was off. I have a screenshot. Can you guys double check?
Yeah, we have this screenshot here.
And you have it first?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a screenshot. They put it up here. I can see it.
Yeah, everybody's saying I was first. I was first.
Now a whole bunch of people. Vin said 75 first. Yeah, but anyway, we have a screenshot. I could see it of 77.
He's a personal trainer from Napa, California on the Facebook.
On my website? Oh, on Facebook?
No website, excuse me.
My website, Josh is a personal trainer from where?
Napa.
Napa. Sweet. Now watch for these. I'm going to be giving away lots of stuff. Entrepreneur tools. For those of you who got an accelerator, congratulations. Is Deanna still here? For those of you who got in, congratulations. Make sure you schedule your phone call in the next very short period of time, a day or two. If you didn't win, don't worry. I'm going to do another one soon. We will send, if you won, we're sending you the iPad mini. Now, I'm starting to give away lots of stuff on my other social networks too. Follow me on Instagram, Tai Lopez, YouTube subscriber, Tai Lopez, Facebook, Tai Lopez, and then on Snapchat is the only one different. It's Tai Lopez and the number 1. All right, Mo Darwish, we're going to double check that you win because you're very concerned. But they did send me a picture, a screenshot showing Mo first. Vinny Guido first. So I'm not trying to be. George Wohar should be the winner. We video it now so that it's always fair because we have literal videos. Huh? Somebody said, does he have lice? Why are you describing? You don't have lice. Any last questions? Any last questions? Now, watch for me on Facebook because I'm starting to do a lot of live on Facebook. So if you want to win the next time, if you want to learn a whole bunch of cutting edge stuff on investing and business and being an entrepreneur, living a badass life, getting people to, teaching other people, changing the world, make sure you follow the stuff on my Facebook too. All right? For those in the accelerator, get ready. It's a big step you guys take. I wanted to change your life. 2016. This is the year. You rock and roll. When everybody else is going left, you go right. Noogie. You got thick hair, but your hair's sticking up in the back.
He was in the pool.
Oh, you were in my pool? That's $5 a lap. You have to pay me. There's a toll. 2016 is going to be explosive. Go against the status quo. Nice. Guys, so tomorrow, watch again. I'm going to be giving stuff away. Facebook, Insta, Snapchat is important too, and YouTube. One last piece of advice. Like I said, become a learning machine. When everybody else wakes up and just lives like a robot zombie through life, be hyper aware of what's going on. Don't let people make you into a sucker. If you're playing poker and after 30 minutes you haven't figured out who the sucker at the table is, that means you're the sucker at the table. To not be the sucker, you don't need to be fearful, but you need to be precise. Precision beats power and timing beats speed. That's great advice from Conor McGregor. So get in there, train the brain to have a six-pack and the body to have a six-pack. Both. All right. Thanks so much. We've been on here for 5 hours. Say bye.
5. It's been a little more than 5.
5 hours and 48 minutes. Yeesh. Woo. All right. good day. Somebody said you threw up a gang sign, they thought. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks so much. All right. Well, hello, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, so this is, you're welcome. Here's
Here's all the pages I have to go through.
no, this is what we talked about. Neuroscience, investing, and automating.
Cool.
So you know.
Awesome. Hello, everybody on Periscope.